Christmas Eve, 2023. We wish you a Merry Christmas and all the blessings of a prosperous and peaceful, healthy New Year. Tonight's programming is jam-packed with good feeling and song and good times. I won't go into any of the details, except to say that you can expect, are you ready? You can expect Batman and Robin. Let's begin.
From Chicago, we invite you to enjoy Life, Life with Luigi, a new comedy show created by Cy Howard and starring J. Carrol Naish with Alan Reed. A year ago, when Luigi Basco left Italy to start his new life in America, he promised his mother that he would write her and tell her about his adventures. So now we look over Luigi's shoulder as he writes another letter to Mama Basco in Italy.
Dear Mamma Mia, in America is now big Christmas shopping season. Mamma Mia, you should see wonderful things they have here, especially for the house. For instance, in old country, when it's washing, a woman take a wash to the creek, stand barefoot, and rub clothes against a rock. Here in America, woman take a bundle to store full of washing machines. Put a wash in, the fella press a button, 1, 2, 3, clothes come out to clean. All the woman needs is a strength enough to put in quarter and a husband to carry the bundle. Our countryman Pasquale, who bring me here and has Spaghetti Palace next door, he's doing his Christmas shopping too. But his shopping list has only one article: husband for his fat daughter Rosa. And your son Luigi, Mamma Mia, is a number one on Pasquale's list. Mamma Mia, that Rosa, she's big. When a Rosa steps on a scale, a little ticket comes out with one word: help. Outside this, my antique business is not so good. I guess people like to buy new things for Christmas, not antiques. If I have money, I like to buy lots of presents, especially for my 12-year-old general manager, my boy Jimmy O'Connor. He's just coming home from school now, and he say,
Hello, Mr. Luigi.
"Hello, Jimmy. How was school today?"
About the same. What you writing?
I'm sending out my Christmas cards.
Who to?
First one is to Pasquale. I make them up myself. Here, I read to you. Dear Pasquale, it's a pleasure to be here on a Christmas day. So thank you for the money that bring me to USA.
Not bad.
P.S. Merry Christmas to your wife. And I'm not going to marry Rosa. Happy New Year.
Any more, boss?
Oh, here's the one to Miss Spaulding. Dear my teacher, Miss Spaulding, learning me so fine. Wait and see the Christmas card I write in a 49.
Hey, you're doing great, boss.
Here's one more. To President Truman. Dear Mr. President, best wishes from me. It's a pleasure that we both are where we want to be.
He'll like that.
Well, now, Jimmy, what do you like for Christmas?
Not a thing, boss.
Why are you different from anyone else? Everybody wants something.
Well, there isn't a thing I need, boss.
Jimmy, if every kid talk like you, Santa Claus will go out of business.
Boss, I'm not going to let you get me anything, so let's drop it.
But, Jimmy, what is it you want the most that you can't get?
Well, as long as I'm not going to get it, then a bike is the thing I want most.
Well, it's 2 weeks before Christmas. Maybe Santa bring it to you. But I got the biggest surprise for you, Jimmy. See this?
Oh, no, you bought another statue.
It's a more than statue. See? It's a Paul Revere lamp. Beautiful, huh?
How much?
$60, that's all it costs.
No.
Yes? See, is a horse. Is a little lantern light.
Every store in town is selling, and we're buying.
Can't help it, Jimmy. Paul Revere is a brave fella.
I know. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere.
How you know this, Jimmy?
Well, every kid knows it. It's from a poem by Longfellow.
What's this Longfellow's name?
That is his name. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
It's a nice name. Maybe I signed my Christmas poems with the three names. Luigi Basco Basco.
Luigi, my friend. Hello, Luigi. Hello.
Hello, Pasquale.
Hello, Jimmy. How's it with you?
Hello, Mr. Pasquale.
I got a big surprise for you, Jimmy.
Yeah?
But I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell Luigi. So you go out and go in the back.
All right, Jimmy. Go, have some milk.
That's a nice boy, that Jimmy. I'm feeling sorry for him.
Why you sorry for him? He's all right.
Is he going to have a Christmas tree?
I don't know.
Is it going to be a stocking and a chimney?
I know have a chimney.
You're lucky you got a stocking. It's absolute terrible shame for a boy like that not to have a real Christmas with all of the trimmings.
It's not my fault. I do the best I can.
Sure is it your fault. Is it your fault because you're single?
What's the single got to do with a Christmas?
Only people what's got a good Christmas is a family people. You should have seen my spaghetti house on a Christmas. It's a big tree with a little silver decorations, little bulbs and lights.
Pasquale, I like to see this.
And then the lights, they spell out the words.
Merry Christmas?
No, special at Christmas dinner, $2.50.
Sounds pretty.
And then Rosa, she sneak down on a tippy toe early in the morning. Hold the house a shake. She wake everybody up.
Maybe me and Jimmy will come to your house.
Sure, of course. On the trees are going to be a present for you.
Thank you, Pasquale.
It's going to be 2 single dollar bills. A green Christmas.
What for $2?
That's the price of a marriage license.
I guess I'm going to have a black Christmas.
And for Jimmy, for him, I'm going to have electric train.
Is it too big for electric train?
This one is going to be a Super Chiefs. Just the right for a boy his age. Even you would like to play with it.
That's going to be fun.
Sure. You're going to have an engine and the cars right here in your store. But the tracks, they're going to be in my house.
Why?
Why, you say? Because when you want to play, then you come over to my place. It's going to be a lot of fun. You and a Jimmy and a Rosa on the floor.
Why you always bring up Rosa?
I'm her papa. Who else is going to bring her up?
Please, Pasquale. We're talking about a Christmas. It's time for a happy talk, not the Rosa talk.
All right. I don't press to the subject, Luigi. I'm going to let things work out of themselves. Maybe Jimmy, he's a get to like her if he sees a lot of Rosa.
If anyone sees a Rosa, he's got to see a lot.
You know, maybe he's even a get to call her mama.
Pasquale, I'm not going to marry Rosa.
Even if Jimmy like her, just to think of next year what a happy Christmas he's having with his grandpa. If he's my grandson, he's going to have everything.
And what I have?
Rosa. What do you say, my son?
Goodbye, Papa.
Are you in charge?
See, I'm Luigi Basco. What can I do for you, lady?
Do you happen to have any lamp?
I have one lamp right here.
Oh, my, that's original. It's Paul Revere on his horse.
That's right. You like it?
Yes.
Is it not for sale?
I don't understand.
Is it not hard to understand? I just buy it for myself. I'm crazy for Mr. Revere.
Well, but aren't you in business to get money?
See, I guess you're right. I need the money to buy little Jimmy a Christmas present.
Well, what are you asking for the lamp?
I'm asking $60, but if that's too much, I sell it cheaper.
No, that's a fair price. I'll take it.
All right, lady. I take him in the back and wrap him up. Come on, Paul. Well, Mr. Revere, guess you got to take another ride. In old days, you ride on a horse. Now, Jimmy, he's wanting to ride on a bicycle. Can't help it, Mr. Revere. I'm sorry. I know you only for short time, but I'm already know a lot about you. You also immigrant. But when a country needs you, you say, okay. You find a soldier in the wartime. You find a silversmith in the peacetime. People always remember you because you ride in the night and you show people lantern light shining. Well, now you go to a lady's fine house. The light on this lamp shine there, and the people see you. And maybe they remember how you and the other fellas fight. So there is always a light shining in America. Goodbye, Mr. Revere. Merry Christmas. Here, lady, is a Paul Revere.
And here's your money, Mr. Basco. Would you mind putting the lamp in my car?
It's the first time a Paul Revere's a horse to ride in a car.
Thank you. And a Merry Christmas.
Same to you, and a happy Paul Revere. America, I love you.
Hey, Luigi!
Excuse me, Pasquale, I'm in a big hurry.
Where you going this time?
To the department store.
Always running to someplace. You going to buy something or just look around?
I'm going to buy something.
A tie?
No, a toy.
Where you get the money?
I just sell Paul Revere.
Who's the Paul Revere?
He's a lamp.
He's a lamp? How much you get for this human torch?
I get a $60.
$60 for a lamp? People must be crazy.
No, Pasquale. If you know Paul Revere, then you understand. I explain.
Ah, you explain. Fine.
You remember Revolutionary War?
Must have happened before I come here.
You remember Boston Tea Party?
They don't invite me. I don't go to no party.
No. No, Pasquale. It was like this. It was April 18, 1775. Paul Revere was a home.
Luigi, do me a favor. Go to the department store. By the time you finish explanation, Santa Claus is going to go back to the North Pole.
Mamma mia. It's a big store and a big crowd. I wonder where is the bicycle department.
Merry Christmas, children. Merry Christmas.
Please, Santa Claus.
Scram, kid, you're too old. Merry Christmas, everybody. Oh, Merry Christmas.
Please, I'm looking for bicycle.
Well, and have you been a good little boy all year?
Yes, Santa Claus.
Not you, dopey. Scram.
Please, bicycle is not for me. It's for my boy Jimmy. Is a bicycle salesman here? See, here's my $60.
Merry... He's probably necking with the perfume sales girl. Merry Christmas, everybody.
But where I can find the...
Maybe I can help you.
Thank you. Are you bicycle salesman?
Not exactly.
I want to buy a bicycle for my boy Jimmy.
That's fine.
And here's my money.
You shouldn't be waving it around like that. Put it in your coat pocket.
Oh, thanks, mister, thanks.
Hey, look, you got some of Santa's whiskers on your coat. You better let me give you a quick brush.
Oh, thank you. You're a real nice fella. I guess the clothes are not so clean, huh?
You're clean now, I think.
I'm a little dizzy. It's the first time I'm in such a big store.
Yeah, I guarantee you won't forget it.
Oh, here's a salesman now. I hope you have a nice Christmas.
Thanks, I will.
Yes, sir. Can I interest you in a bicycle?
Yes, I'm waiting for you.
Oh, sorry. I was away for a minute. Just going over a few things at the perfume counter. Now, here's a bicycle that'll give you years of service.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
How much do you intend to spend?
All I have is a $60.
Well, exactly the price of this bicycle. Automatic brakes, all chrome body, fog lights, heater, the works.
Fine. I take it. Here's my 60. Mamma mia.
What, is something wrong, sir?
My $60. It's missing.
Merry Christmas, everybody. A Merry
It's one of America's favorite phrases, and certainly it's one of America's favorite shows. It's Hit the Jackpot, which you'll hear in just a little later tonight over most of these same CBS stations. Tonight, the jackpot will be worth $25,000 to the listener or studio guest who cracks the mystery of the secret sentence. And if they all fail, the jackpot total will climb to $27,000. Tuesday night's always great listening on CBS, so stay tuned for Hit the Jackpot a little later. And now for the second act of Luigi Basco's adventures in Chicago, we turn to page 2 of his letter to his mother in Italy.
And so, Mamma Mia, I lose my $60, and Jimmy loses a beautiful bicycle with a shiny metal, a big, beautiful tires, and a little piece of fur in the back. I think it's to keep a boy's feet warm when he rides on a cold day. I feel very sad inside. But I hope a man who finds my money is a poor man. And he buys a bicycle like this for his little boy. So, salesman, he takes me to store detective who says it to me.
Now, think hard, Mr. Bosco. Are you sure you came into this store with $60?
I'm sure, Mr. Detective. I got the money from Paul Revere.
And another thing... You got the money from who?
Paul Revere.
Not the guy with the horse.
That's right.
Look, mister, why don't you lie down and rest a while? You know, walking around in these crazy crowds all day does something to a guy. You'll feel...
Please. I own an antique store, and this morning I sell Paul Revere statue for $60.
Oh, for a minute you had me worried. Now, look, are you sure you came in here with the $60? Maybe you left it home with your wife.
I'm not married.
Yeah, that's right. A married guy wouldn't have $60 in his pocket to begin with. Now, tell me, Mr. Bosco.
See?
When did you first notice the money was missing?
I'm standing next to Santa Claus.
No wonder that guy keeps yelling, Merry Christmas.
No, Mr. Detective. It was not the Santa Claus.
Maybe not. Mr. Bosco, did anybody brush up against you in the crowd? Now think.
No. Oh, only one nice man. He brushes off my clothes.
Can you describe him?
I don't remember too much. He had red hair, green eyes, a scar under the left eye. His nose, it's crooked. He wears a little orange bow tie. And he had it was a polka dot. And he walked with a limp.
Well, you're not giving me much to go on. Do you know his name or where he lives?
He didn't tell me. Please, Mr. Detective, maybe you'll find my $60 so I can buy Jimmy the bicycle.
Well, I'll look around the store, Mr. Bosco. Go see the manager and report your loss.
Thank you.
You say you want to report a loss in our store?
Yes, sir, Mr. Manager.
Well, now, would you describe what you lost, please?
Yes. Was a 1 dozen $5 bills, all green. With a picture of Lincoln on every bill, and then there was...
Yes, Miss Bosco. I'll just put down $60.
Please, this money was to buy a Christmas present for my boy Jimmy. A beautiful bicycle with a piece of fur on the back.
I'm sorry, but of course our store can't be responsible. You understand?
Merry Christmas, everybody. Nuts!
Please! What kind of language is this from a Santa Claus?
Mr. Grover, I'm through playing Santa Claus in this store.
But why?
I am turning in my suit, my whiskers, and my Merry Christmas.
Is it a question of money?
No, it's not the money. I played Santa Claus in every department store, in every whistle stop in the country.
But please...
I am an actor. I play Santa Claus with so much feeling when I kiss my wife, I think I'm kissing a reindeer.
Will you please calm down and tell me what's troubling you?
Please, Mr. Manager, my $60.
You keep quiet. All right, Mr. Grover, I'll tell you what's bothering me. It's the class of kids you get here. They tear off my whiskers, tweak my nose, and the things they whisper into my ear. Especially that last kid.
What did he ask for?
What Harry James would never give up. No, I'm through, I tell you. I'm through. I'm packing up.
Please, calm down.
No, I've had enough. Enough, I tell you, enough.
Please, my money.
I'm sorry, sir. Your money turns up, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Say, you.
See,
help me off with these whiskers, will you?
I'm sorry you decided to go away, Mr. Santa Claus.
This crummy joint doesn't know how to treat a great artist. Last year I played Santa Claus in the biggest department store in New York. I was so great they held me over until New Year's. My clippings.
I think you're fine, too.
I had the star's dressing room, a special makeup artist to do my face.
Sure.
My uniform was created by a Hollywood expert.
But if you leave, the children, they may be very sad.
You should see the hole I've got here for a dressing room. A broom closet between ladies' pajamas and men's sportswear.
But the poor little bambinos. Nobody here to ring a bell and holler Merry Christmas.
And what have you got to be so merry about? You lost $60. Your kid's not going to get his bike.
See, it's a bad thing. But not so bad as a Christmas for little kids who are without a Santa Claus.
Well, if that's the way you feel about it here, you be Santa Claus. Me, I am quitting.
It's a Merry Christmas, little bambinos. A Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. You comfortable under my lap, little bambino?
Oh, definitely.
That's a fine. Now, you tell us, Santa Claus, what do you want for Christmas?
Well, I want a set of toy soldiers and 2 drums and a wagon
Good,
and a football suit and 1,000,000 comic books and skates.
Oh, that's a fine. I'm going to
and a
get...
sled and 2 drums and a scooter.
Well, Santa Claus is going to need a truck.
And whatever is the matter, Santa Claus?
Well, it's a lot of presents. To get all this, Santa Claus is going to have to own a bank.
Oh, you see, he doesn't have to. My father does.
Oh.
Now then, I want 2 drums and a pony and an electric ring.
It's a Merry Christmas, bambinos. A Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And what's your name, little fella?
Spud.
Spud. That's a fine name.
Okay, now give me the loot and let me go home.
First to tell us Santa. You been a good boy this year?
I've been perfect. Mama's boy, a real sweet nose.
Now, you sure you're telling us Santa the truth?
Sure, my nose is clean.
Is it not a good idea to tell a Santa Claus a lie, Spud?
Well, except for the time me and Baldy Harris put the stink bomb under old lady Schultz's window.
And why you do that?
Because she called a cop on us.
And why Mrs. Schultz did she call a cop?
Because I busted her window after she took away my pea shooter.
Is the only time the nose is she's not the cleanest, Spud?
Well, we got one mean teacher in school, and last year I used up 2 boxes of tacks on her.
Is there more dirt on the nose, Spud?
Oh, just a few little things like that.
Is it going to need a handkerchief like a tablecloth to make your nose clean?
I guess I don't rate no presents this year, Santa. But if I had another chance, I'd make good.
Well, Spud, he's all right, I suppose. Important thing is that you promise to be good a boy next year.
Oh, I will.
Now, tell us, Santa Claus, what do you want for Christmas?
I'd like a pea shooter, 2 stink bombs, and 2 boxes of tacks.
It's a Merry Christmas, bambinos. A Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Come, sit on a Santa's lap, little girl.
Oh.
Now, you tell us, Santa Claus, what do you want for Christmas?
Oh, I'd like a bicycle.
Me too.
You don't? Why, you don't need a bicycle.
I'm just thinking of a little boy who like a bicycle, too.
Santa Claus, can I have a mama doll and a carriage and a teddy bear and 2 packs of bubble gum?
It's a Merry Christmas, bambinos. A Merry Christmas.
And here's Santa Claus, Robert. Now you just step up there and tell him what you want for Christmas. Go on, Robert, don't be shy. Robert.
Please, I talk to him, lady. Hello, little Robert.
Hello, Santa Claus.
You want to touch your Santa's whiskers? Go ahead and touch. It's nice and soft. And it was a dry clean only today.
Santa Claus, how did you get here?
Like everybody else. You see, I take a Dearborn Streetcar, then I transfer it over the whole...
Don't disillusion the child.
Mamma mia. Lady, I'm sorry, I forget. I come here just to buy a bicycle for Jimmy.
Well, I've never seen such a Santa Claus. Manager, but where's the manager of this store?
Lady, please, I only tried to help out.
I want the manager.
Hey, what's going on here? What is this?
Please, it's all for the little bambino.
Are you the manager, sir?
That's right, I'm Mr. Grover. Is there something wrong?
Well, yes. What kind of a Santa Claus do you have in this store?
Well, madam, I don't...
How do you expect a child to believe in a Santa Claus that talks with an accent?
I'm sorry, lady. You come back next year. I'm going to study very hard, and there's going to be a Santa Claus with a perfect English.
Say, aren't you the fellow who was in my office?
The other Santa Claus, he got excited and he goes away. So I said to myself, little kids, they come to stores, they don't see Santa Claus. And what are you going to tell them? Santa Claus, he don't like the place, he say it's a crummy.
Well,
So I think maybe I'll be Santa Claus till a new one shows up.
But a Santa Claus speaking with an accent.
Please, it's not important to children how Santa Claus he speaks. They only think, is a Santa Claus make them happy? Is a Santa Claus nice and fat? Is a Santa Claus make good promises? If a yes, everything it's a fine. And the children, they're happy.
All
right. Okay, I take off a suit. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not a good Santa Claus because it's the first time I ever see him. In my country, is no called Santa Claus. In other country, is a mother star and a father star. In some places in Europe is Saint Nicholas. In Norway is a Jule Nissen, the naughty elf. But it doesn't make no difference to kids.
I don't know what to say, Mr. Basco.
I'm sorry, sir.
Maybe you don't believe in a Santa Claus.
I think I do now.
Mr. Basco, would you do me a favor and keep the uniform on until I can arrange to get a steady one from the agency? Of course, you'll be paid.
Oh, please, no pay. Being a Santa Claus isn't no work.
Well,
it's
then,
a pleasure.
Let me repay your kindness. Please pick out any gift you want in the store.
Oh, thank you. It's a one time when a Santa Claus got a present, no? It's a Merry Christmas, Bambino. It's a Merry Christmas.
Please, Mr. Santa Claus, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Was once a little boy named Jimmy O'Connor who got a bicycle for Christmas, so every... So, Mamma Mia, I'm a happy like a little boy because Santa Claus will take care of my Jimmy and give him a bicycle. Also, I'm sending you package canned food. Invite the whole family for Christmas dinner. Is a Luigi Basco plan instead of a Marshall plan. Maybe, Mamma Mia, by next year I make enough money so you come here too. It's so wonderful to be here all year round, but especially wonderful now. If I could afford, I send a Christmas card to all American people and say, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, American people. P.S. Your loving son of Luigi, the little immigrant.
Be sure to listen next week at this same time over most of these stations when Luigi Basco writes another letter to Mama Basco describing his adventures in America. Life with Luigi is a Cy Howard production and is written by Kraft and Cy Howard and stars J. Carroll Nash as Luigi Basco with Alan Reed as Pasquale. Music is directed by Wilbur Hatch.
Bob Hope Show. Transcribed direct from the Veterans Administration Hospital at Long Beach, California. With Les Brown and his band of renown. Our special guest, Bing Crosby. And here he is, Bob Hope.
On Christmas Day for these boys in the Veterans Hospital. As I look out amongst you, I can see the Christmas spirit everywhere. Red robes and green faces. And I said to Dr. Edwards, I'm looking forward to a great show today. Last time I was here, I found out how to make these guys laugh. He said, I know, Hope, but now we keep that stuff locked up. I thought this was a hospital, but I never saw such a healthy bunch of guys. In this place, you're not considered ambulatory till you pass the nurse you're chasing. in veterans' hospitals, now new hospital beds have gadgets to do everything. One fellow pushed all the buttons at once to see what would happen. He's now drawing flight pay. He'll be in for a landing any day now. And you should see the way these guys speed around the corridors in their wheelchairs. I asked one patient how much longer he expected to be confined. He said, I've been cured for a month. Now all I got to do is serve out the last 90 days of my traffic sentence. And one patient even had the Christmas spirit while he was being bandaged. He turned to the doctor and said, before you wrap it, I'd like to put a card in it. And I watched one of the nurses decorating the Christmas tree in one of the wards. What a beautiful sight. And the limbs on the tree weren't bad either. One soldier took a look at the star on the top of the tree and he said, egad, there's a brigadier general running this show, too. I think it was General Estabrook, I'm not sure. You can't blame Santa Claus for not wanting to show up at this hospital. Last year, when he stepped out of the fireplace in his red suit, 3 nurses and a doctor grabbed him, gave him a shot, threw him in bed, and screamed, we don't care if you do have a beard, you'll be discharged when we're good and ready. I played Santa Claus for my kids, and it was great. I had a real Santa Claus suit and came down a real chimney. It was exciting. They had a real fire. They had to beat me out with my own beard. But it's been a great day here at the Long Beach Veterans Hospital. I had dinner here, and can these patients eat? The chaplain said, say grace, and between saying grace, they were ready for dessert. They served 6 courses with 10-minute intermissions to carry out the wounded. Boy, they really went after the food. I said, how's the stuffing? And the guy stuck his head out of the turkey's mouth and said, fine. Table looked really beat. I said, you look like something the cat dragged in. He said, yeah, but he won't drag me out again. I ate him.
Oh, Bob, can I introduce our guest now?
Not yet, High. Grandpa Crosby can't come dashing out on the stage like he used to, you know. It takes a little preparation. They've got him backstage hanging upside down by his heels.
Well, it's silly, Bob. Why should they be hanging by his heels?
Well, he has to stay in that position till his chest slides back where it used to be. Then they rivet him into a pair of tight leather shorts so when they turn him right side up, there won't be an avalanche. But I got a right to be sore. Wait till I tell you what happened. It was yesterday afternoon. I was in a department store to buy a gift for Bing. Well, there's Santa Claus standing in the middle of the aisle. I'll go over and say hello to him. Well, jolly old Santa. Well, tonight's Christmas Eve, Santa. Are you going to get into your sleigh and sail over the housetops?
No, boy, I'm going to the rendezvous and fly around the chandelier. Merry Christmas, everybody. Put something in the pot, boy.
You, huh? Still working this racket, eh?
Oh, don't call this a racket, boy. Every cent I take in is for a noble organization. You've heard of the SPCA?
Oh, yes. The Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals?
Yeah, well, this is for the HGBLF, the homeless coonie birds of Lower Frangipani.
Frangipani? Where's that?
I've never been able to find out. I hope I locate it. I'd hate to be stuck with all this money. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Now, wait a minute.
Anyway, boy, I'm not a crook. I'm really one of the store detectives. I watch the customers to see they don't steal anything.
Oh, you're a store detective?
That's right.
That's like making King Farouk house mother at Vassar.
Now, boy, I only dipped in for a few dollars to give to my poor old mother. The little old lady's sight's failing, and she needs a pair of eyeglasses desperately for her work.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is her work?
She forges unemployment checks.
Oh, pardon me. Here comes a guy I don't want to meet. What'll I do?
Well, just crouch down behind the counter there till he goes by. That's it there. Now he won't see you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hello, mister. Say, aren't you Bing Crosby?
Well, that's close enough.
to add mine to the pot. Here.
Some contribution a can of Minute Maid.
Perhaps you can help me, Santa. I don't know the store very well around here, and I'm looking for a present for a friend of mine, Bob Hope.
Well, you know him better than I do. Why don't you buy him whatever he needs the most?
Well, now, that's an idea. Yeah. Where can I get a large package of talent?
Look who's talking. If he's in my next road picture, he'd be pushing a broom in a cart.
I've got to get something for Yogurt Boy. I was going to buy him some shorts. I really thought I'd buy him some shorts, but they don't have a size big enough for him. The only size they had were large, very large, and across the wide Missouri. You've noticed this lad is requiring quite a bit of real estate toward the rear.
Nope. He's the low, rambling ranch type himself. He just try to back him into a two-car garage on a foggy night.
He had the knife out and couldn't open the blade.
I'd like to open one on you, bro. Where'd you get that little ad lib on, man? I can feel it right between my...
It shouldn't be hard to think of a present for your friend. Think of it the other way around. What's the one thing you'd like to receive from Bob Hope?
A postcard from a concentration camp in Siberia.
Now, listen. I heard everything you said. I was hiding right behind the counter.
Well, look who's here. Paramount's bad guest. Shoplifter.
I just found out your true character, you lopsided lon.
Oh, no, here. Ease off your clever hips. I punch you right.
I don't see that. Just
I punch you right on that nose of yours, but I never start anything that's already finished.
Look, avocado top. Yeah, if that head was any smaller, you could use a plumber's friend for an umbrella.
You're my plumber's friend here.
Put your hat on. That's all you need.
Plumber. Oh, that's champion.
Hey, Junior, I don't understand.
I think that's the critic from the Long Beach Press Telegram.
I don't understand all this indignation, Junior. What do you expect me to give you for Christmas? Miss America wrapped in cellophane or something?
Stop bragging. You couldn't get within a mile of Miss America with Errol Flynn on a leash.
Hey, look, Montrose, I'm going to settle this question once and for all, Murgatroyd. Come here.
Thank you, Montrose.
Claude, I shall demonstrate to all concerned just who is the biker and who has the generous heart in this team. Now, for your Christmas gift from me, I want you to pick out anything in the place.
Very generous ad libbing.
No, I mean it. I mean it. Young lady.
Yes.
I'll take that.
No. No. You worked out
anything.
Well, I mean that $300 set of silver over there. Just wrap it up as my present to Mr. Holt.
To me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll top that.
How?
As my present to him, lady, wrap up a $500 set of silverware.
I'll raise my gift to you to $750.
Well, I'll raise mine to you to $1,000. And here's my check to pay for it. 1,000 even.
Thank you, sir.
Now, get up your loot things.
Oh, Mr. Crosby doesn't have to pay.
Of course not.
Wait. Wait. What goes on here?
I'm the shill of the silverware department, lad.
You're the shill?
Yes. Gary owns the store.
There are many wonderful Christmas stories, such as those written by Dickens and Hans Christian Andersen. But tonight we're going to present a story of Christmas that has never before been told. It's the tale of Bingsy and Bobsy, who, whether you can imagine it or not, were once young. Let us go back through the years. At the home of the Hopes in Cleveland, there is a tiny new arrival.
Look at him, Dad, laying on his little blanket. Isn't he just what you wanted for Christmas?
No.
wanted was a pinball game.
Oh, now that's silly. A pinball game doesn't grow up and stay with you through the years.
Maybe not, but at least it has all its marbles.
Remember, Pa, before the baby came, you went out and bet $50 it would be a boy, and I bet $50 it would be a girl.
Yeah. That's $100 we'll never see again.
Look, just...
What does that mean? Wait.
Look at his little face smiling up at us.
Goo.
Say something, Sonny.
Goo.
Again, Sonny.
Goo.
Isn't it cute? Sonny, tell me, what would you like for Christmas?
The new lines I'm laying an egg with is goo. Yes, sir, we hoped for a wonderful family. Mama was a fine woman till the desire for riches got the best of her, and she turned used car dealer. She had an idea that would have made a fortune if they hadn't caught her at it. She was soldering pennies on the front of Fords and selling them for Lincolns. Automobiles, that was all my folks ever thought of. As a baby, I never had any talcum powder. They jacked me up twice a week and Simonized me. The first Christmas I really remember was when I was 7 years old. A new family moved in next door, and I went over to make friends with a little boy. Hi there. Hi. What's your name? Harold Lillis Crosby. Well, brush your hair back out of your eyes so I can see it. You can tell this is a fantasy. Oh, fantasy. Santa's coming tonight. What do you want for Christmas? I can't have anything. We're very poor. Are you really poor? Yeah, we don't have anything except what my brother Larry brings in on Saturday night. What's that? My brother Everett. What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, most kids want to be an engineer in a big train and go lickety-split. An engineer in a big train and go lickety-split? Yeah, but that's stupid. I want to be a singer. Listen.
That old black magic's got minutes, well. That old black magic that I know so well. Ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-boo, ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-boo.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Engineer and go lickety-split and run over you? Poor little fella. I couldn't forget the pitiful figure he made, standing there, his face pinched with cold, his cheeks blue, and big holes in his money belt. All little Bing wanted for Christmas was a pair of skis. I knew he wouldn't get them, so I started to whittle him a pair. But the Crosbys moved away. I didn't see Bing for years. And one day he walked into my backyard and said, "Hi. Where you been?" "Oh, we moved to Spokane, where I finished grammar school, high school, then I enrolled in Gonzaga University, from which I graduated with high honors. From there, I went to the Sorbonne in Paris, where I studied for her, and I acquired my master's degree in music. What have you been doing?" "I finished your skis." This is double dandy. I don't ski, but they'll keep me from falling down open manholes, I guess. Say, who's this cute bit of fluff coming through the gate? Hey.
Yoo-hoo, Bobsy.
Oh, she's my fiance. She's so crazy about me, she thinks I'm the only guy in the world.
Hello, Bobsy. I just thought I'd come over. Well, who's this? Over the river, darling.
Skip the gutter. Fluffy up your feathers, will you? I'm a chicken inspector. You really go back.
Oh, 23 to do.
I'm Kid Pepper. You can't shake me. Squeeze me, kid. Squeeze me, kid. I'm a lemon. The ushers will now pass among you with Tums. You're quite a dish, honey. I'm in a generous mood today. You may kiss me if you like.
Oh, thank you. Oh, come on, honey. Let's go where we can be alone.
I decided I couldn't let him get away with that, so I yelled, "Hey, come back here, you."
Yeah, what do you want?
You forgot your skis. I didn't see Bing for several years, but they told me he never made any money till the Carnation Company hired him. Crosby's voice made the cows contented. When he sang, they turned to each other and say, "Thank goodness, Matilda, that didn't come out of me."
Please, you're speaking of the tonsils I love. I'll take over from here, Robin. To make a name for myself, I went to New York, where I did rather well. I got quite a jolt one day on Broadway when a shabby derelict shuffled up to me and said,
"Hey, mister, you got $1 for a cup of coffee?" If I'm a bum in this thing, I may as well be a high-class one.
Get away from me, you panhandler. You ought to be ashamed. Haven't you any higher ambition than this?
Yeah.
What is it?
I want to be an engineer in a big train and go lickety-split. Yes, me. I'm in awful shape. Can you help me?
I'm sorry, but I've worked hard here in New York for what I've attained. Had you applied yourself as I did, you might have achieved a place for yourself on Broadway as I have. Now, on your way. Go along. I'm busy.
Okay.
Here you are. Get your morning paper. Go on ahead to the Times Express. Bill. I took pity on Bob, and I added him to my vaudeville act when my seal died. The skin fitted him perfectly, and I soon taught him to sit up, clap his flippers. Oh, what an act it was. By the light,
by the ever-loving night
of the silvery moon.
It rhymes with June and croon and spoon and goon unless my band is out of tune. Say, Joe.
Yeah, Mo?
Did you hear what the fella said when he buried the light bulb under the ice house?
Now, what did the fella say when he buried the light bulb under the ice house?
Mazda's in the cold, cold ground.
That night was Christmas Eve in the little theater we were playing in Kansas. Christmas Eve, a time of warmth and good fellowship, especially among homeless actors. As we sat in our dressing room after the performance, the door opened. The manager of the theater stuck his head in with a genial gleam in his eye. He smiled and said, "You no-talent jerks are fired."
Fired? For what?
That ain't enough of your act this bad, but ever since you've been here, we've been missing popcorn from the machine in the lobby. And all we understand your agent is living here in the dressing room with you. A pack of lies. We never stole anything out of the lobby.
And our agent's never been in this room.
Just pack up and get out.
Well, open the trunk.
Gee, thanks, fellas. It's hard to breathe through all that popcorn.
We all know what followed. The two boys made picture after picture for Paramount. And now, to crown their achievements, they are summoned to the office of Y. Frank Freeman, the president of Paramount Studios, who is about to appoint an executive director. May the best man win. Well, hello, boys.
Well, hello, Mr. Freeman. How are you, boys?
I won't keep you waiting because I know you're anxious to know my decision. Naturally, executive director is an important job. So we chose the man with the most talent.
Swell. Where's my desk?
And the man who was most charming and handsome.
A very clear description of me. Fade, Junior. Go ahead, beat it.
So I want you both to meet the man we selected.
Well, don't stand there. Empty the waste paper.
Oh, no!
Frankie, what are you doing at Long Beach? Well, the shrimp boat's landed, and I fought my way out of the net.
want to wish you all the season's best. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. And Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. It's time once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, under the direction of Al Lewis. Well, the schools have been closed during the Christmas vacation, and our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, has spent hers quite enjoyably.
Yes, indeed. During the days preceding Christmas, there was the thrill of wondering what kind of gifts I'd receive. Then, in the days following, there's been the thrill of wondering what I'd get in exchange for the Christmas gifts I received. By last Thursday, though, I had made up my mind and paid a visit to the exchange counter of Sherry's department store. Pardon me, are you in charge here?
Yes, ma'am. Dale is the name, Rex Dale. And who might you be?
I might be Mrs. Boynton if I keep my New Year's resolution. Right now, the name is Constance Brooks. Several of my friends have purchased gifts here that I'd like to exchange.
I see.
First of all, there's the plastic monstrosity in this box.
That doesn't seem quite the way to talk about a gift from a friend, Miss Brooks.
This happens to have been presented to me by my principal, Mr. Conklin. And believe me, it's terrifying.
No Christmas present freely given should be referred to as terrifying.
Here, I'll open the box for you. There.
What in the world is it?
It's a figure of Atlas carrying a globe. Only the globe is built in the shape of a round house, which tells the changes in the weather by a small man and woman who pop out of their respective doors when you least expect them.
But what's this on the back of the figure? He seems to have a red spine.
That's a thermometer. And dangling from the thermometer is a small alarm clock.
Oh, now I recall this item. It must be quite popular. The gentleman who bought it ordered 6 of them. He said he was giving them to several members of the faculty. Well, there must be some place you could use it.
Mr. Dale, this sort of thing was old-fashioned when Grandma was a girl. Where could it possibly fit in the modern home?
Well, let's see. Do you have a fireplace in your living room?
Yes, and I thought of the fireplace myself, but plastic doesn't burn very well.
I was thinking of the mantelpiece. Couldn't you put it up there?
I tried that, too, but my landlady keeps a canary in a cage on the mantelpiece.
Well, isn't there room for them both?
Yes, but I don't believe in being cruel to our feathered friends. First time I put this thing next to the cage, the canary took one look at it and fell head first into his bird bath. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to exchange this for some lingerie.
Well, if you insist, Miss Brooks, I'll give you this credit slip. Just show it to the clerk in the lingerie department.
Oh, before you make it out, there's something else, Mr. Dale. These earrings were purchased here, too.
Oh, what's wrong with them?
They're a trifle too ornate for me.
Oh, nonsense. They're beautiful. Just look at the workmanship in those exquisite brass crowbars.
I'm afraid they're a little too heavy for me, Mr. Dale.
Heavy? Well, let me heft them.
All right, I'll put one on the counter. Here.
Yes, they are a bit substantial, aren't they?
Substantial? They pull my ears down so far, I look like a Cocker Spaniel. I'll just get a nice manicure set instead.
Very well, Miss Brooks. Anything else?
Not much. I'd like to exchange this pen and pencil set for some stockings and these slippers for a handbag.
Miss Brooks, wasn't there anything you received for Christmas that pleased you?
Oh, yes, Mr. Dale. I have a blue and white scarf that I'm just delighted with.
And who bought that for you?
I did. Now, if you'll give me those other exchange slips, I'll get the rest of my unshopping done. I don't like to rush you, but Walter Denton, a student of mine, has offered to pick me up in his car in a few minutes.
Well, I wouldn't bank on it, Miss Brooks.
What do you mean?
If he's a student of yours, he's probably exchanged his car for a pogo stick.
It was nice of you to interrupt your holiday to give me this lift, Walter.
For you, Miss Brooks, my Yuletide spirit knows no bounds.
What kind of Yuletide did you have, Walter?
Oh, magnificent, Miss Brooks. Oh, you should have seen my house. The spirit of giving was rampant. The gifts for everybody all over the place.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. The Horn of Plenty was really loaded this Christmas.
Well, you can't blame your father for relaxing on a holiday. There were lots of presents. What did you get, Walter?
Oh, I got some lovely gifts, Miss Brooks. Didn't you notice anything different about this car when you got in?
Let's see. The 4 fenders are still missing. The hood is still off the motor. The windshield hasn't been replaced yet.
Yes, go on. Something new has definitely been added.
The convertible top is still absent. There's only half of a rear view mirror, and the glass is out of both doors. I can't figure it out, Walter. What's been added?
Nylon seat covers.
Just what this car needed. Who gave them to you?
Both my mother and father.
Together?
Yeah, my father gave me a sweater and my mother gave me a muffler, and I exchanged them.
Dale was right. Like teacher, like pupil. What did Harriet Conklin give you?
Oh, do you like this plaid sport shirt I've got on?
Yes, it's very attractive. Did Harriet get you that?
No, but her keychain and 90 cents did. Well, here we are at your place, Miss Brooks. Safe and
sound?
Now, before you get out, Miss Brooks, would you mind telling me what Mr. Boynton got you for Christmas? I know Harriet was egging him on to get you something real personal and feminine.
Oh, he almost got me something extremely personal, but I stopped him in time.
Oh, what was he going to get?
A stapler. He finally settled for a pair of very clever earrings shaped like crowbars, but just between us, I exchanged them for a manicure set.
But why? What was wrong with the earrings?
I couldn't get them on without a stapler.
Well, Connie, did you get all your exchanging done?
Yes, Mrs. Davis, I got some wonderful things.
Good. I'm glad to see you looking so chipper. You seemed pretty blue last night when Mr. Boynton broke a date with you.
He couldn't help it, Mrs. Davis. He had to attend a meeting of the biology club. Besides, I enjoyed the movie I saw very much.
What did you see, Connie?
Born Yesterday with Judy Holliday, Brod Crawford, and Bill Holden.
Well, if they were all there, you couldn't have missed Mr. Boynton too much. Before I forget, Connie, Mr. Conklin called twice while you were out.
Mr. Conklin? What did he want?
I'm not sure, Connie, but it's about some kind of a report or something. He wants you to help him with it.
But this is my vacation. If he calls again, please tell him I'm out.
Oh, I'm afraid you'll have to tell him yourself, dear. I'm going out in the garden. One of our crawling vines has tripped over the garage door.
Oh, well, I won't be home very long anyway. Maybe he won't. Then again, maybe he will.
Hello, Mrs. Davis. This is Osgood Conklin again. Has Miss Brooks come in yet?
Miss Brooks? There is no Miss Brooks here.
This is Main 2496, isn't it?
Oui, this is the French and Laundry. Fifi speaking.
Fifi?
The girl in charge of the mangle. Who are you look for, monsieur?
I'm looking for a school teacher named Constance Brooks.
A school teacher? Ooh la la, you got the wrong number. Well, that's a reprieve for a while. Mrs. Davis! Mrs. Davis! Mrs. Davis! Oh, dear, she's out and back. Hello?
Hello, this is the One Question for 1,000 program. We're trying to contact Miss Constance Brooks.
What?
If Miss Constance Brooks can answer one simple question, we have $1,000 in cold, hard cash waiting to be sent to her.
$1,000? This is Miss Brooks.
Are you absolutely certain you are Miss Brooks?
Of course. What's the question?
The question is, how could you and the French hand laundry have switched phone numbers so quickly?
Hello?
Get away from that mangle, Fifi. Or I'll really take the starch out of your sails.
Hello? Isn't this Mr. Conklin? I guess you must have gotten our party line, sir.
All right, Miss Brooks. We'll forget your little impractical joke. The reason I called is to thank you for your Christmas gift to me.
Oh, it was just a little remembrance, Mr. Conklin.
You couldn't have chosen a more perfect reminder, Miss Brooks. Two big, heavy bookends. They just seem to sense that we haven't had any personal contact since Christmas. And yesterday, as if by magic, one of them toppled off the table and landed on my foot. It was like old times.
I'm sorry, Mr. Conklin. If you'd rather have something else, I could...
wouldn't part with those bookends if they eat up half my salary in Band-Aids. See, Miss Brooks, in spite of your raffish and undisciplined displays of wit, I feel that you, like myself, are basically a sentimental person. When I receive a present, I feel it's a token of someone's affection, and I wouldn't dream of exchanging it for anything else. I presume you feel the same way?
Hello? I mean, certainly, Mr. Conklin.
By the way, Miss Brooks, how did you like my gift to you?
Oh, stunning, Mr. Conklin.
You know, for the longest time, I couldn't decide whether to buy something ornamental or utilitarian. Then I saw that figure of Atlas.
And you gave up both ideas. You combined both ideas.
Yes, that's about it. Did you find the right spot for it, Miss Brooks?
Perfect, Mr. Conklin. I'm keeping it right on the mantelpiece here in our living room. Quiet, Dickie. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, Miss Brooks. I'll be able to kill two birds with one stone then when you assist me with my report to the Parent Teachers Association.
But, Mr. Conklin, this is my vacation.
It's mine, too, Miss Brooks, but this is for the first important meeting of the new year. So I'll be over to your place in about an hour, at which time I can see how effective my Atlas looks in your living room.
But, Mr. Conklin, you can't come here. The house is a mess. Mrs. Davis is in the midst of her spring cleaning.
Spring cleaning? But this is the middle of the winter.
I know, but she likes to give herself plenty of time. If you don't believe she's doing her spring cleaning, you can ask her yourself, Mr. Conklin. Mrs. Davis! Mrs. Davis! Sorry, sir. She must be out in the kitchen dyeing Easter eggs.
Well, tell her to save me a pink one. I'll be there in an hour.
Oh, no. This is a fine spot to be in.
Did you call me, Connie?
It's too late now, Mrs. Davis.
Too late for what?
For me to get down to Sherry's and get Mr. Conklin's present back. He's coming over here in an hour to give me some dictation, and he expects to see it on the mantelpiece.
Oh, forgive my absent mind, Connie, but there were so many gadgets here around this Christmas that I just don't remember Mr. Conklin's gift. What was it?
A plastic figure of Atlas with a big globe on his head that tells the weather, and a thermometer spine, and also an alarm clock.
Oh, where in the world is the alarm clock?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath.
Water toothpaste.
Water cleans your teeth.
Colgate toothpaste.
Cleans your breath.
Water toothpaste.
Water cleans your teeth.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. And the Colgate way stops tooth decay best. No other dentifrice, ammoniated or not, offers such conclusive proof.
And you should know that Colgate, while not mentioned by name, was the only toothpaste used in the research on tooth decay recently reported in Reader's Digest.
So always follow the Colgate way to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. And stop tooth decay best.
Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate Dental Cream. It cleans your breath
What a toothpaste.
while it cleans your teeth.
And the Colgate way, stop tooth decay best.
Well, when I had calmed down a bit, I realized that Mr. Conklin had perpetrated his Atlas clock on several other members of the faculty. So the only question was, from whom to borrow one? Then Mrs. Davis reminded me that Mr. Boynton had received one, and there was no more question. I had never seen Mr. Boynton's new apartment, and this seemed like as good a time as any.
Be right there. Well, Miss Brooks, this is a surprise. Come on in.
Thanks, Mr. Boynton.
Here, let me take your coat.
All right. So this is your new apartment. May I look around?
Go right ahead.
Aren't you coming with me?
Well, you don't have to go anywhere. This is all there is to it. And please don't mind the appearance of the place. After all, what can you do with a bachelor?
There must be a non-censorable answer to that. Don't you find this place a bit confining for a big, husky, broad-shouldered, dashing, vital... I forgot what I started to say.
You were wondering if I found this apartment confining. Actually, I don't, Miss Brooks. I don't spend very much time in it, but when I'm here, I rather like the compactness of it. Of course, it's different with a girl. I don't suppose you'd care for a tight squeeze.
Try me. I mean, this place certainly wouldn't be any problem to keep clean.
I'm afraid I don't pay any attention to that end of it.
All you'd have to do is wrap yourself in a damp towel, get in the center of the room, and spin around a little.
Well, it may be small, but this place has all the facilities of a larger apartment. Did you know that I have a 2-burner electric stove in here?
Really? Where?
I keep it in my bread box.
Oh, in the kitchen.
No, there's no kitchen. I just keep the bread box in the refrigerator.
I give up. Where's the refrigerator?
In the closet. Just open that door on your left.
All right. I still don't see the refrigerator.
Your coat's draped over it. Well, now that you're here, Miss Brooks, how would you like to stay to lunch?
No, thanks, Mr. Boynton. I wouldn't want you to have to unwrap your kitchen just for me. Besides, I've got to be getting back to my place before Mr. Conklin comes to work with me. That's the real reason I dropped over, Mr. Boynton, to borrow the atlas Mr. Conklin gave you.
What did you do with the one he gave you?
I exchanged it for some lingerie.
So did I.
What color? What am I going to do? He expects to see that atlas prominently displayed on my mantelpiece.
Well, why don't you phone Mr. Conklin and tell him you went out without your keys and Mrs. Davis has left the house, too?
I could do that. Then he'd probably suggest that I come over to his place. That wouldn't be so bad.
Well, I don't have my phone in yet, Miss Brooks, but right on the corner there's a gas station or a candy store you can call from.
I'll use the gas station. I'm on a little bit of a diet.
Oh, before you go, Miss Brooks, I haven't seen you wear the earrings I got you for Christmas as yet. You will put them on for New Year's Eve, won't you?
New Year's Eve?
Oh, yes. I've gotten hold of an extra ticket to the biology club dance. I took it for granted that you'd tag along.
Then you can take it for granted that the earrings will drag along with me. And while we're on the subject of presents, you don't seem to be wearing the cufflinks I gave you.
The cufflinks? Oh, well, I'm saving those for New Year's Eve, too. Yes, sir. Well, you better run along now and phone Mr. Conklin. I guess we won't be seeing each other again until our date Sunday night.
Oh, we'll see each other before that.
When?
It all depends on what time we both arrive to exchange our exchanges at the exchange counter. So I'll just come on over to your place, Mr. Conklin.
Well, if you've lost your keys and Mrs. Davis is out, I suppose it's the only thing you can do, Miss Brooks. But my wife is having some folks in tonight, so we'll have to finish up at your place after dinner.
Yes, sir. That'll give me plenty of time. That is, I'll see you soon, Mr. Conklin. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Harriet. Oh, Harriet,
Here I am, Daddy. What can I do for you?
do you know what's been done with those 2 monstrosities that Miss Brooks gave me for Christmas?
You mean those 2 cute bookends?
Yes, those cute bookends. 2 green midgets with purple beards shoving their shoulders against yellow wheels. Last time I saw them, your mother was cracking walnuts with them.
Gosh, Daddy, Mother told me she exchanged them for a vase.
What? But Miss Brooks is coming over here to work. She'll expect to see those twin nightmares on my desk. Well, there's only one thing I'll do. I'll run down to Sherry's and try to get them back before she comes.
It was just wonderful of you to drive me down here again, Walter. I've got to get back the atlas and Mr. Boynton's earrings at once.
Oh, that's okay, Miss Brooks. I've got to get back the keychain Harriet gave me.
Oh, did she ask you about it?
Yeah, she said she expected me to wear it on New Year's Eve. Gosh, I wished I'd had my wits about me. I'd have asked her why she wasn't wearing the pearls I gave her.
You gave Harriet pearls, Walter?
Certainly not. But I know she's exchanged so many gifts it would have thrown a good scare into her.
Well, it's too bad about the keychain, Walter. The shirt you exchanged it for looked lovely on you.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Oh, the thought of exchanging it distresses me deeply. I guess I'm just a sentimentalist at heart, Miss Brooks.
A sentimentalist?
Yes. When a person near and dear to me gives me a present, I hate to exchange it more than once. Well, here's the counter.
How do you do, Mr. Dale? Remember me?
Now, don't tell me. Let's see. Oh, of course, you were the lovely lady who almost gave me a nervous breakdown this morning.
And remember me?
Certainly. You gave me a nervous breakdown yesterday. Oh, look, you two aren't going to start all over again, are you?
No, Mr. Dale. This time it's going to be very simple.
Oh, good.
I'd like to turn in some lingerie and get back my atlas.
But this morning you were practically livid about this.
That was this morning. Then I'd like to turn in my manicure set and get my earrings.
Yeah, and I'd like to turn in my sports shirt and get back my keychain.
I have a dispatch for you both. I'd like to turn in this job and get back my sanity. Now, I'll make out your exchange slips in just a moment. But first, Miss Brooks, you've got to do me a small favor.
What is it?
Just stand behind this counter for one moment while I go out for a smoke. I'm beginning to feel my nerves nibbling at the base of my skull like mice.
Oh, but Mr. Dale,
There won't be too many customers at this time of day, but if anyone does come over, just be courteous. By that I mean be sure to say please when you ask them to drop dead.
Oh, he'll never make a good exchange clerk. Too sensitive. Well, while we're waiting for him, I'm going to look at some sports equipment over in the next aisle.
But you can't leave me behind this counter all alone, Walter.
Why not? It might open up a whole new career to you. Especially if you don't get Mr. Conklin's atlas back in time.
Now, listen, Walter,
See you later, Miss Brooks. And don't forget to say please.
Oh, dandy. This is turning out to be some vacation.
Oh, pardon me, miss, but I'd like to swap this penknife for Miss Brooks.
You can't have Miss Brooks for that penknife.
What in the...
Mr. Boynton.
Oh, I was just going to say blazes.
Oh, then go right ahead.
What in the blazes are you doing behind this counter?
I'm just pinch hitting for a busy friend.
A busy friend?
Yes, he's brushing some mice off the base of his skull. Is there something I can do for you, Mr. Boynton?
Well, there was something I wanted to exchange for something else, but I'll wait until the regular clerk comes back.
But he may never come back. The mice may brush him off. Why don't you tell me what it is you want to exchange?
Well, no, I couldn't, Miss Brooks. It's rather personal.
Pardon me, young man, pardon me. Miss, I'd like to swap this vase for Miss Brooks.
You can't have Miss Brooks for that vase. Not even if you threw in a penknife.
But what in the...
Blazes am I doing behind this counter?
Exactly. And you, Boynton, what are you doing here?
Well, I have something I'd like to exchange, Mr. Conklin.
A deplorable practice, exchanging gifts. Shows an abysmal lack of consideration for those who presented them to you.
What are you doing here, Mr. Conklin?
Me? I've just been doing some last-minute shopping. I've never been near this exchange counter since Sherry's opened its doors to the public.
Oh, me either, but today
Well, Miss Brooks, I feel a little better now. Thanks for... Well, what do you know? It's a Madison High reunion.
Oh, then you know these gentlemen, Mr. Dale.
Know them. Since Christmas, we've been practically living together.
I see.
This chunky boy with the malignant mustache has been back about 9 times.
Quiet, Dale, quiet.
But, Mr. Conklin, I thought you didn't believe in exchanging gifts.
I don't, Miss Brooks. It's just that, well, I was down here with my wife a couple of times.
Couple of times. He was here so often I thought he was trying to turn her in.
That's a hot one. Well, I'll be running along now. I've got...
One moment, Mr. Boynton. Mr. Dale, has this tall gentleman been down here, too?
Has he? He's the most insidious type of all.
Insidious?
He's the sort who expects the Brooklyn Bridge in return for a pair of cufflinks.
Oh, Mr. Boynton, you did exchange the cufflinks I gave you.
Well, what are you complaining about? You turned in the atlas he gave you, didn't you?
That was the atlas I gave you, Miss Brooks. How could you do it?
I hate to see a canary bird with a limp.
Anyway, you're a fine one to talk, mustache. You turned in the desk lamp he gave you.
Desk lamp? Well, that's what I gave you, Mr. Conklin.
Well, what about those earrings that pull down your ears, Miss Brooks?
And more important than any of this, what about getting out that report of mine to the Parent Teachers Association?
You're right, Mr. Conklin. I'll settle this matter of gifts once and for all, Mr. Dale. I'm going to turn in everything I've received this Christmas for just 2 presents for these gentlemen.
2 presents?
Yes. Give Mr. Boynton a Cocker Spaniel and Mr. Conklin a workhorse.
And now, once again, here is Eve Arden.
Freedom is everybody's job. That's why all of us must work to keep our individual rights and freedoms by voting in an informed way, serving willingly on juries and public committees, and taking an interest in the development of our community, state, and country. That way we can all make 1951 a year that will prove the strength and success of democracy. And now, on behalf of my sponsor, the Colgate Palmolive Peat Company, and myself, a very happy New Year to all of you. Good night.
This is Vern Smith reminding you to tune in next week to another Our Miss Brooks show, brought to you by Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous, caressable hair, and Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth and help stop tooth decay. Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written by Al Lewis and Arthur Alsberg, with the music of Wilbur Hatch. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon. Others in tonight's cast were Jane Morgan, Dick Crenna, Gloria McMillan, and Joseph Kearns.
Where the blue of the night meets the gold of the day, someone waits for me.
It's Bing Crosby and the Kraft Music Hall with John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, Eugenie Baird, the Charioteers, Charles Henderson and chorus, and in Chicago, the Kraft Choral Group. Bing has sung Adeste Fidelis here in the old Kraft Music Hall. As usual, he'll sing it first in Latin, then with everybody joining him in English.
Surely this year, more people than ever before will want to raise their voices
in a chorus of Come All Ye Faithful.
Bing, I think it'd be nice if folks at home would join in, too, and folks all over the world.
We're certainly counting on them, Ken. The home folks, wherever they may be, to help us sing this eternal hymn. Adeste fidelis, leti triumphantes, venite, venite in Bethlehem. Natum videte, regem angelorum, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, Now everybody here in the hall, John Scott, Eugenia Baird, the Charioteers, Charles Henderson in the chorus, as well as all you men wherever you are and everybody at home all together in your family's favorite key, once through in English. Oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore Thank you very much. I think you folks listening at home, you ought to know where we got our wonderful support in the soprano and the contralto departments this evening. We're proud to welcome to the hall more than 100 young ladies from Uncle Sam's Navy. They're on their way to a preview at Paramount Studio where they will witness a flicker dedicated to their own branch of the service, a little item called Here Come the Waves. I know they'll be captivated by the caperings in this picture of my very good friends Betty Hutton and Sonny Tufts, even if they must suffer through the faintly antique antics of one of the older crooners. Just to kind of limber them up gently for this harrowing experience, we've asked them to visit us first. And here they are. They're looking mighty sharp in their navy blue and white. I'm glad it is we are to see them. With those happy harmonists, the Charioteers, assisting, we like to salute our waves here tonight with that merriest of traditional melodies, Jingle Bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun to ride and sing in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells and bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing the sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing and scratching all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun to ride and sing
what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Oh, we have a lot of fun.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
That band is really gone, isn't it, Benny?
Put them back in the wagon before they fill up.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Oh, we have a lot of fun.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Yes, got to associate that melody with everything Christmassy. Got to, just as this next character is associated with everything around the pantry. Lay it in there, Jack.
I don't need to tell you, ladies, that there are just 2 more days of grocery shopping before the Christmas feasting really begins. I do want to remind you of something for that grocery list tomorrow morning. It's Kraft cheese spreads for snacks on Saturday night or Christmas Eve, or for appetizers just before the Christmas dinner. Particularly, I want to remind you that the 4 creamy varieties of Kraft cheese spreads take just 2 ration points apiece. There's Kraft pimento and olive pimento spreads, the zestful roca spread, and Kraft relish spread with the bits of pickle all through it. Just set them out in their own glasses, put out some crackers, and snacks are ready. Sometime this weekend, you'll be glad, mighty glad, you remember to get some Kraft cheese spreads.
Our lovely lady with the dulcet delivery, Eugenie Baird, brings us a stardusty ditty now. I Dream of You. Very pretty thing, too.
I dream of you more than you dream I do. How can I prove to you this love is real? You're mean to me more than you mean to be.
I really loved it. One of the season's top tunes, and deservedly so. I think it's number 4 on Mr. MF's LST. I'm Making Believe. I'm making believe that you're in my arms, though I know you're so far away. Making believe I'm talking to you. Wish you could hear what I say. I'm here in the gloom of my lonely room. We're dancing like we used to do. Making believe is just another way of dreaming, so till my dreams come true, I'll whisper goodnight, turn out the light, and kiss the pillow, making believe it's you.
to do. Making believe is just another way of dreaming, so till my dreams come true, I'll whisper goodnight, turn out the light, kiss the pillow, making believe it's you.
Charioteers come to us tonight laden with a message, thus combining happily entertainment and practical purpose. Knock it, men, right in yonder.
Say, Jack, do you know who's beat to his sock?
Who's that, man?
Nobody but me.
What's the matter, Bub?
Been loading up a tanker all day long. Convoy's supposed to shove off tonight.
You know one thing, Bub, you really talk too much. In fact, your mouth is too big. Now, my advice to you is...
Shh, don't talk too much. Shh, don't know too much. Jack, don't be too hip, cause the slip of the lip might sink a ship. Shh, don't see too much. Shh, don't jive too much. Boy, don't be too hip, cause the slip of the lip might sink a ship. Now the walls have ears and the night has eyes. So let's be wise and trick those nasty, nasty spies. Shh, don't talk too much. Shh, don't know too much. Boy, don't be too hip, cause the slip of the lip might sink a ship. Slip of the lip might sink a ship.
Look out, Dipper Lip. Don't let nothing slip.
Now the walls have ears and the night has eyes. So let's be wise and trick those nasty, nasty spies. Shh, don't talk too much. Shh, don't know too much. Boy, don't be too hip, cause the slip of the lip might sink a ship. Don't talk too much. Don't know too much. Be like King Tut.
Now, he won't talk, cause that guy's dead.
So keep your big mouth shut.
Fine men, very lovely indeed, very clever. One of the most welcome canciones to come up from south of the border is Cuando Vuelva a Tu Lado. Yes, sir, which has been Englished into What a Difference a Day Made. What a difference a day made. 24 little hours brought the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. My yesterday was blue, dear. Today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear. Since you said you were mine, what a difference a day made. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can't be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day made, and the difference is you. Heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day made, and the difference is you. Today we have the pleasure of again welcoming to the Kraft Music Hall a group of visitors who join us each Christmas season, the Kraft Choral Club. A warm feeling of fellowship is the year-round Christmas spirit characteristic of this group of 70 of our co-workers in the Kraft Chicago offices and factory. Theirs is the finest sort of appreciation of music, for they come together in their rehearsals because of a spontaneous desire to sing. They enjoy knowing, too, that they are part of an organization dedicated to comradeship of this kind. This Christmastide, the Kraft Choral Club, under the direction of Lou Jacobson, brings us Henry Fry's distinguished arrangement of Beautiful Savior, a Christmas anthem based on a traditional folk melody. The Kraft Choral Club. The Kraft Choral Club gives us now the beautiful and thoughtful poem by Florence Tarr, set to music by Peter DeRose, God Is Ever Beside Me.
God is ever beside
best wishes to the Kraft Choral Group. And my eager associate is standing here practically a quiver at my elbow. He wants to inject a few happy holiday suggestions into your menus. Right in there?
Thank you. Tomorrow night or Saturday or Christmas Eve when you're trimming the tree, somebody's almost sure to drop in at your house. Somebody who'd like to serve a cup of coffee or some refreshment along with a snack. Well, then be sure to order some of the 7 delicious Kraft cheese spreads tomorrow morning. A few glasses of Kraft cheese spreads, set out with some crackers or potato chips, and your snacks are ready in a twinkling. What with all the holiday buying, I suppose that point budget of yours is strained. So I want to mention in passing that 4 grand varieties of Kraft cheese spreads take just 2 points apiece. They're the perfect appetizer spreads: pimento, olive pimento, roca, and relish. All creamy in texture, all delicious. Now, that grocery list for tomorrow's shopping is long, I know. So it'd be a smart idea to make a note on it right now. Just jot down Kraft cheese spreads. The folks will be mighty glad you remembered.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly Christ the Savior is born. Christ the
On our fighting front, there are no silent nights, but there are plenty of holy nights. I'm sure that all of us are offering up prayers for the gallant gang of American kids to whom anything that has to do with peace still seems very far away. My own thoughts are a lot humbler than they were last year. I've talked and lived and chowed with these boys whose courage and faith is something that beggars description. Seeing those GIs kneel in a muddy pasture in France brought back to my mind the lines of an old familiar prayer that I'd heard somewhere along the line back home. God grant unto us an early peace and victory founded on justice, and instill into the hearts and the minds of men everywhere a firm purpose to live forever in peace and goodwill toward all.
Tune in to Kraft Music Hall next Thursday at the same time with Bing Crosby, John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, Eugenie Baird, the Charioteers, Charles Henderson and the Kraft Choir, and our guests, the Les Paul Trio.
here, the season for bright, tempting dishes, for foods that smack of good cheer. So be sure to have some delicious golden Pabst-ett cheese food on hand. Pabst-ett adds a festive touch to holiday meals and lunches. Blends smoothly into a luscious, appetizing cheese sauce. Makes delicious sandwiches and snacks, slices and toast to perfection. Look for Pabst-ett in the familiar round, flat package. Add delicious golden Pabst-ett cheese food to your holiday shopping list tomorrow.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin presents The Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
And now, The Halls of Ivy.
That surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we be far, far away.
Welcome again to Ivy. Ivy College, that is, in the town of Ivy, USA. A vast silence has recently descended upon the campus. The midterm examinations will soon begin, and like most college presidents, Dr. William Todhunter Hall enjoys this terminal lull. It gives him a chance to lock himself up in his study and polish off the accumulated unfinished business. And that's what he's doing at the moment. His wife, the former Victoria Cromwell of the London stage, has just answered the front doorbell. She enters the living room with a visitor and says,
Well, if you're quite certain it's important, I'll try and get him out. But I must warn you, Mr.
Nolan. Harry Nolan.
Well, I must warn you, Mr. Nolan, that I may not succeed. Once my husband locks himself up in his study, he becomes entirely oblivious to the rest of the world. In fact, compared to Dr. Hall when he's concentrating, a Hindu faker on a bed of nails could be termed flighty.
It's important.
Well, I'll do my best. William! The house is on fire! William? How important is it, Mr. Nolan?
I've flown in all the way from New York to offer your husband $150,000, Mrs. Hall. You rate it.
William! Don't worry. I'll get him out. I'll use the old piano routine.
The old...
Yeah, the old piano routine. I generally reserve it for just such emergencies as this. It never fails. Holds him out by the ear, in fact. You watch. In less than 20 seconds, he'll unlock the door, open it, stride over to the piano, and when you watch, just sit down over there on the couch, and I'll join you in a moment. Are you ready?
Ready.
Yeah. Here we go.
This is the most excruciating...
William, you have a visitor.
Harry. Hairbreadth Harry.
Billy. Bouncing Billy.
You old son of a gun.
You old son of a gun.
Hasn't it been a long time?
Hasn't it been a long time?
You haven't changed a bit.
You haven't changed a bit.
You old son of a gun.
You old son of a gun.
I'm delighted to see you.
I'm delighted to see you.
You look great.
You look great.
You old son of a gun.
You old son of a gun.
Hairbreadth Harry.
Bouncing Billy.
You old son of a gun.
You old son of a gun.
Well, that clears that up, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, Victoria. Have you met?
Oh, yes, we've met without the tribal chanting, of course, but we've met.
Well, we're fraternity brothers, Harry and I. We roomed together for 3 years. We shared everything. Clothes.
Money.
Girls. Ho, ho, ho. Those were the days. Harry, where have you been? I haven't heard from you since, 1940.
Oh, out on the West Coast till a few months ago. Then they made me vice president in charge of operations for the whole network and sent me east to New York.
Still in radio,
Radio? Aren't you quaint? No, television's my baby now, and it's quite a bouncing baby, too.
Yeah, I know. We get the same kind of reception on our set.
As a matter of fact, Billy, that's why I'm here. What would you do if I offered you a certified check for $150,000?
He'd take it quick like a bunny.
Darling, please. 150,000 in return for what?
We want the TV rights to Ivy's football games next year.
I see. Harry, make it 160,000 and the television rights are yours.
Oh, I wish I could. But I can't go a penny above 150. Business-wise, it's not worth it.
Well, sponsor-wise, it might be.
Market-wise, it's not.
Money-wise, it's not too much.
Profit-wise, it is.
Food-wise, would anybody care for lunch?
Lunch? Oh, I suggest we wait until Professor Barrett arrives, Victoria. I invited him to drop over for lunch.
Good heavens, is old Barrett still head of the drama department?
Yeah, he certainly is. No, Harry, I can't possibly take less than 160. I'd like you to have the rights, but I know you don't expect me to give it to you out of sentiment.
No, of course not. And I'd like to give you 160,000, but I know you don't expect me to be guided by sentimental consideration. Now, I always say there's no place in business for sentiment. Don't you agree, Mrs. Hall?
Well, you asked the wrong person. I'm the original sentimental Susie. I can't bear to disappoint people, and the more I like them, the less I can bear it. I go all melted buttery inside.
She's sweet, isn't she?
Yeah, I'm a living doll. In business matters, not very wise. Speaking wise, that is.
I agree with you, though, Harry. When it comes to business, my head rules and not my heart. I find that you can't read the fine print with tears in your eyes.
No, it's the same with me. Why, I wouldn't even ask someone to do business with me on a sentimental basis. I don't con people, and I don't want to be conned.
Right.
150. I won't budge a jot.
160. I won't budge a tittle.
I always meant to ask about that. Exactly how does one go about budging jots and tittles?
Later, darling, later.
Billy, I'll tell you what. I'll offer 150,000 plus a job for you.
For me?
We're setting up a swank 39-week television series. It's a drama series, world's best plays, that sort of thing. We need a master of ceremonies. Someone to tell the audience about each play, its history, aesthetics, significance, and maybe, between acts, peddle a little soap. How would you like to do it? Pays very well.
I?
We want someone like you, someone with prestige, someone with distinction. You'd make a very good appearance, and you've a fine, resonant speaking voice.
Well, but I don't quite, you really think so? Oh, I don't, no, I couldn't. It's quite impossible. No.
Well, don't decide it off the cuff. Think about it. I tell you what, go back into your study and finish whatever it is you were doing, and then we'll...
No, I've quite finished. I was merely reading a manuscript at Professor Barrett's request. A play, as a matter of fact, and if you should change your mind and decide to present a series of the world's worst plays, you'd be interested in this one.
Thank you, no. If we ever do present such a series, I still have some of the masterpieces I composed when I was taking Barrett's playwriting course. Talk about turkeys.
Yours couldn't possibly be more aromatic than this one.
Oh, I didn't know you'd read it, Victoria.
Well, yeah, I happened to see it on your desk, and after glancing at the first line, became perversely fascinated by it. After each page, a small, still voice inside would urge, "Go on, Victoria, read a bit more. It'll feel so good when you stop." I've read a lot of plays in my day, but I've never before encountered such mishmash.
Mishmash? Oh, yes, of course, mishmash. I'm glad you agree with me.
Yeah, who wrote it?
Well, Barrett wouldn't say. You know how sensitive he's always been about hurting his students' feelings.
Oh, yes. Whenever he read one of my little gems to the class, the knowledge that the author would remain anonymous
was worth $6 a minute.
I can't understand how, after 4 months with Barrett, the greatest authority in the field of theatrical literature and dramaturgy, anyone could turn in such a mush-mush.
Mishmash.
Thank you. The author of this play is wasting his and Barrett's time. And if Barrett is too sensitive to tell the student, I shall be happy to do it myself.
Do you mean to say you have the strength to tell a writer what you really think of his work?
Well, of course. When my opinion is requested, I always give it as honestly and as fully as I can. Don't you do the same?
No, not exactly, but there are scores of ways of answering the question, what do you think, without hurting the author's feelings.
I'm sure I can't think of any.
Oh, yes, of course you can. Whenever a playwright asks me, what do you really think of it? I always seem to be able to make him happy by looking deeply into his eyes and saying, that's a play. Can't possibly call it a lie. It was a play.
The one I always use is, you really have something there. Of course, I don't want to say what it is they really have.
And it's also effective to tell a playwright, there are many good things about it. Now, he doesn't know you're referring to the grade of paper it's written on, or the accuracy of the spelling, or the cleanliness of the typing.
Have you ever tried, of course it needs work?
Yes, that's a good one, too.
But that's sophistry. Weaseling. No, I shall tell Barrett, or the student, exactly what I think and let the chips fall where they may. I have too much respect for art to respect the artist. Epigram.
Well, I'd rather die than tell a playwright what I thought about his work. Well, unless, of course, I liked it.
Oh, that must be Barrett now.
Oh, good.
Excuse me, Harry, while I answer the door.
Do you think Professor Barrett will remember you after all these years?
Oh, he might. I once said something to him that made him chuckle every time he saw me during my 2 years at Ivy.
Oh, really, what?
I'd written a one-act play about the death of William Shakespeare. And Barrett called me into his office and very gently, very tactfully, but very devastatingly pointed out some of its flaws. When he finished, I said I felt it would have been much, much better if I had died and Shakespeare had written about me.
No, Professor, not in the least. You're exactly on time.
Good afternoon, Professor Barrett.
Oh, nice of you to have me, Mrs. Hall.
I wonder if you happen to remember Mr. Nolan. He's a former pupil of yours.
Of course. I remember him well. It would have been much better, sir, if I had died in Shakespeare.
Very good to see you again.
Thank you.
We were just discussing the play you asked me to read. Should we talk about it now and then have lunch, or would you prefer
No. Let me hear about it now.
Well, I feel very strongly, Professor Barrett, that the author... by the way, would you mind telling me who wrote it?
I did.
I feel very... What?
Yes, I wrote it, rewrote it, and polished it over a period of 6 or 7 years. What do you think of it? The truth now.
You wrote...
Yes.
Well, Professor... Professor Barrett, that's a play.
Yes, I know it's a play, but what about it?
You have something there.
But what?
Many good things about it.
Yes, I know. The margins are straight and so on, but the play. What about the play?
The play?
Yes.
Well, of course, you realize it needs work.
You could say that about the human race to the great creator himself. Be more specific. Do you think it's good or bad? Were you moved at all, or were you unaffected?
Well, I feel that...
Suppose we discuss it after lunch. I think it's ready now.
Lunch, thank heavens. Yes, indeed. I've been looking forward to it all day. Yes, let's go in at once, Victoria, and we will talk about your play when we finish. Lunch. What a lovely thought, a nice hot lunch. Yes, indeed. Surprisingly warm for January, isn't it?
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 1:30 p.m. on December 26th, the 5 millionth barrel of Schlitz beer brewed in 1950 rolled out of the brewery. This is an all-time record. You helped set this record. You and the millions of people who prefer Schlitz to any other beer. You who have made Schlitz the largest selling beer in America simply because you like the taste of it. To you, Schlitz gives its thanks and its promise that every glass of the beer that made Milwaukee famous will continue to be the kind of beer that makes millions agree it has to be fine to be first. Now back to the halls of Ivy. Professor Barrett and Harry Nolan are conversing in the living room of the Hall's home. Dr. Hall, having delayed the inevitable as long as he possibly could, has gone to his study to fetch Professor Barrett's play. Mrs. Hall joins him there and says,
Toddy, you all right?
No, but I've got to go through with this, and how can I possibly tell such a gracious and gentle friend what I really think of his effort?
It's only a play, darling.
It can't be dismissed as lightly as that. Like any work of art, it's a creation, just as surely as a child is a creation. And like a child, the greater the pain and the greater the effort expended upon it, the more it is loved. Professor Barrett has worked on this play for 6 or 7 years. You heard him. And it's as cruel to shatter his conception of its merit as it would be to say to a doting father, is that your child's face or a Halloween mask it's wearing?
Well, then, I suggest you tell him we think it's one of the most powerful and beautiful plays ever written.
But a favorable reaction from me would only spur him on to submit it to some producer. And that would lead to unbearable humiliation. Don't forget, in the past 30 years, he's taught at least a score of students who have become quite respectable writers and achieved reasonable success.
To say nothing of the few who haven't been in the least bit respectable and have achieved even greater success.
Yes, exactly.
Toddy, I don't mean to press, but we really can't stay in here with the others waiting for us in there.
All right. Hail, Caesar, we who are about to die. I'm ready, darling.
Have you come to a decision?
Yes, I'll tell him the truth. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps it is only a play. You wouldn't care to... No, of course not. Forgive me, I'm sorry I asked. You go all melted buttery inside, don't you? Yes. Come on.
That's what I thought.
After you, Vicky. Oh. I'm sorry I took so long, Professor Barrett. My desk is such a frightful heap of accumulated papers that
I quite understand. My wife often refers to my own desk as the city dump. Well, what do you think of the play? The truth now.
Oh, I intend to speak truthfully. I know you feel as keenly as I that we must always make it a point to face the facts. Face the facts.
Steady, Doctor. Your Freudian slip is showing.
No, Professor. Really, I intend to tell you exactly what I think about your play.
Without fear or favor?
Without fear or favor.
Good. Well?
In my estimation, your play... by the way, speaking of plays, did anyone see the end run Gerby made in the New Year's Day game of Remarkable, simply remarkable.
Was it?
Oh, yes, remarkable. Wasn't it, Victoria?
Oh, yes, it was. I remember remarking to you at the time that it was remarkable.
Wasn't it, though? 11 yards.
What the devil's so remarkable about that?
It was the wrong direction.
Speaking of football, what do you think of my play?
This is what I think.
I'm really very anxious to know, not only because it's my first play, but because, I don't mind telling you, I'm very anxious to have it produced. I might have worked on it a few years more, I suppose, but I can no longer indulge myself.
Well, I don't quite understand, Professor.
I need money. Quite a lot of it, the doctors inform me.
Doctors? Are you ill, Professor Barrett?
My wife.
I never realized.
Yes, she's quite ill. When they told me, I naturally thought of my play immediately. It's really the only large asset I have. All my hopes are centered upon it.
I see. I'm dreadfully sorry about Mrs. Barrett.
Yes, so am I.
Oh, well, go ahead, Dr. Hall. Is it, in your estimation, a good play?
Dear Professor Barrett, we both love you, and it's a bad play. Although beautifully constructed and technically precise, it's entirely devoid of feeling, beyond the art of any actor, and will induce in the audience neither laughter nor tears. That is what William and I, in all truth, think.
I see.
You must know, with all your experience, that there's no truth about a play's merits. I mean, no one can say with certainty that it's good or bad. But you asked us to tell you what we felt. And we felt what we told you.
Thank you.
Professor Barrett, there are some who light the torch and some who hold it aloft. Who is to say which of these is the greater?
No, it's quite all right, William. It's quite all right.
Anyway, Billy, as I was telling you at lunch, this jockey spoke to me while I was over at the paddock. Mr. Nolan, he said, I want to give you a tip. There's a filly down at the stable who has yet to run her first race. She's the fastest thing I've ever seen. Well, of course, I'm interested immediately, having my own stable as I do. So I went to see this filly's owner. Told him I might be interested in buying her. Understand?
What? Understand what? Oh, yes, the filly. Yeah.
He quoted a price that was out of this world. I told him he was crazy and offered him half what he asked. Understand?
What? Oh, yes, horses. Yes. Professor Barrett.
I'm not finished. Well, you know how it is in horse trading. Give a little, take a little, and eventually you may be able to make a deal. Understand? Same as any other deal. Horses, real estate, television rights to football games. Give a little, take a little. Understand?
No.
I say that when you're trying to make a deal, you give a little, take a little. Whether it's horses, television rights to football games, 39-week drama series. Understand?
Horses, television, 39-week drama. Oh, yes. Of course I understand. But what do you take me for? I wholeheartedly agree.
Good. Professor Barrett.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't following the conversation.
No, I was saying that I wish you'd do me a favor. Help me out of a predicament.
Well, gladly, my boy, if I can.
Well, as I told you, I'm in television now, and we're thinking of presenting a very swank 39-week series, World's Best Plays, one a week, you know. Well, we're looking for someone to be the nominal producer, someone with prestige in the field of dramatic arts. Someone to appear on each program and sort of introduce the play and tell the audience something about it. It's a very important and highly paid job, but I can't think of anyone to fit the bill. Would you mind suggesting...
Well, there's over in England, and McRae of the...
No, I've just had the most marvelous inspiration.
I wonder if it's the same one I have.
Why, heavens to Betsy, I'm all at sea. What do you mean?
Why, Professor Barrett would be wonderful on such a program.
By George, it never occurred to me.
I? On television?
What a capital idea. Now, why couldn't I have thought of it?
Because you're stupid.
Television, do you really think it's possible?
Well, we mustn't get our hopes up, must we? TV has very, very strict requirements. Let me hear your voice. Say, how now, brown cow?
How now, brown cow?
Perfect. Why, you could knock me over with a feather. And you have such a distinguished appearance. Professor Barrett, I'd be very grateful if you accepted the job.
Of
course, it only pays $500 a week. But then it's merely a few hours' work. Please say you'll do it. As a favor to me.
Oh, but of course, I'd be delighted to. That is, if you're quite sure. You see, I'm not really a performer.
Well, how do you know? I never knew a good teacher yet that wasn't a bit of a ham at heart.
What about my billing?
Billing, huh? Don't worry, you're a performer. We'll discuss your billing later.
Professor, I'm sure you'll be a great success.
Dear me, I'm quite bewildered. $500 a week. You please excuse me, all of you. I must get home and tell my wife all about this. I shall break it to her gently, of course. Well, Well, goodbye.
Harry, you drive a hard bargain.
You drive a hard bargain.
You old son of a gun.
You old son of a gun.
That echoes back again.
Oh, it's wonderful, isn't it? Harry, that's a magnificent gesture you made.
Gesture? Me? You out of your mind? He happened to be what I was looking for. That's the only reason I offered him the job. What I always say is there's no room in business for sentiment.
Right. In business, one must have a hard heart as well as a hard head.
Beautifully put.
I still don't agree.
Oh, you're just one of those people, Victoria, who go all melted buttery inside at the prospect of hurting someone's feelings. You can't help it, but there it is.
Yeah, I know. It's a weakness. I often wish I could be more like you in that respect. You know, and cleave to the truth no matter what.
Though the heavens fall.
Yeah, exactly. Though the heavens fall. I lack the strength.
Tut, darling. I've more than enough for both of us. Well, it turned out quite nicely. Harry, you don't have to leave yet, do you?
No, I can stay until you sign this football contract for television. Just happen to have it here in my left hand and a fountain pen in my right hand. And we have a witness who wouldn't be so bad on television herself. Call that an offer if you like, Mrs. Hall.
No, thank you. I'm a home girl now.
Thank you, my darling. Although I'm sure you could meet any and all television requirements.
Oh.
But Harry has football instead. How many plunging lines does he need?
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
Now, here again are Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
At the same time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. Harry Nolan was played by Elliot Lewis, and Professor Barrett was Norman Field. Tonight's script was written by Robert Sinclair, Walter Brown Newman, and Don Quinn, directed by Nat Wolf, and transcribed by the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ken Carpenter speaking.
Surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we be far.
Here comes the Great Gildersleeve. Then it's Groucho Marx on NBC. Here comes the Great Gildersleeve. Then it's Groucho Marx on NBC.
Yes, it's another case for that most famous of all manhunters, the detective whose ability at solving crime is unequaled in the history of detective fiction. Nick Carter, Master Detective. Tonight's curious adventure, a special Christmas story.
Nick Carter's Christmas Adventure, or the mystery of the reluctant contributor.
Well, Nick, we've been pretty lucky so far, haven't we?
Yes, Guppy, we have.
Which is another way of saying that folks are usually willing to contribute to your settlement house Christmas party every year, Nick.
You know, Scubby, I was just thinking about this last name on our list.
Yeah?
Rasper. I don't know him personally. Do you?
No, I don't, but somebody must have thought he was rich enough or interested enough in the work to make a substantial contribution. Oh, here's the... Hey, is this... Hey, Nick, what's that address again?
576 Milton Avenue.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And there's his name on the door plate. Well, let's take a look, Scubby.
Well, gosh, this doesn't make sense, Nick. A guy with dough doesn't hide away in a place like this.
Well, knock on the door anyhow.
Doesn't seem to be anybody here, Nick.
No, hold it, Scubby. I hear someone coming.
Oh.
Who is it? I'm Nicholas Carter. May I speak to Mr. Rasper, please? Nick Carter, eh? Yes. And this is my assistant, Scubby Wilson.
How do you do?
You, Mr. Rasper?
Yes. Well, come in. It's cold out there. You're letting all the heat out.
Oh, beg your pardon. Come on, Scubby.
Yep, I'm in, Nick. I'm in.
Well, what was it you wanted?
Well, Mr. Rasper, I've come to see if you would care to make a contribution to my Christmas party fund.
I never make contributions.
Oh, but you didn't let Nick finish, sir. The fund provides food and extra clothing for the needy and deserving
The
children.
charity department's still working, isn't it?
Well, of course, Mr. Rasper, but my object is to provide an inspiration for the young people who are underprivileged.
People who haven't got any money are always trying to get it from those who have.
Then you aren't interested in seeing that the children of the Lincoln Hall district are helped to a little happiness on Christmas Day?
No, I'm not. Christmas is old-fashioned. I don't believe in it. It's a waste of money and time. Good day.
Oh, well, Mr. Rasper, it's always been a lot of fun for me personally, and I must say that I've always felt better for celebrating it.
And I'm inclined to agree with Scubby, Mr. Rasper. Christmas has always been a bright spot in my life, and I feel sure that if you knew the good it has done throughout the world, it'd make you change your mind.
Rubbish.
Well, in any case, a Merry Christmas to you.
Good day to you. Merry Christmas, indeed. It's a lot of nonsense.
Come on, Nick. Let's get back to civilization.
You know, Scubby, that man's wealthy, no doubt about that. And yet he's soured on Christmas and everything it stands for.
You said a mouthful, Nick.
You know, Scubby, there must be a reason why he thinks that way. And I'd like to find out what it is.
Yeah, but you haven't anything to work on, Nick.
Oh, no, Scubby, I haven't. Not yet. But look here. I can finish up whatever has to be done this afternoon. Suppose you hop down to the newspaper office and go through the files there. There might just be something we could learn about Rasper that way.
Okay, Nick, I'll be glad to.
Then I'll have Riley check through the files at headquarters. It's a long shot, but something might turn up.
Sure, and maybe Patsy has run into something while she's been working down at the settlement house. She might know somebody who knows something about Rasper.
Yeah, she might have that. I'll ask her about it.
Okay.
And maybe with all of us working together on it, we may learn why Rasper's so dead set against Christmas. I'd certainly like to find out.
Hello, is that you, Nick? Riley talking. I've been through my files here, and I can't find anything charged against a man named Ben Rasper. Oh, he was licensed to do business with a man named Howard Lowe, but Lowe died some years ago. Otherwise, Rasper's just a successful businessman. Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what, though, Nick. There's an old fella named Fred Anderson who used to be on the force who knows Rasper. Sure. You can find him at Lincoln Hall, where you're giving the party. No, he's the watchman there now. Okay, Nick, that's all right. See you tomorrow.
Hello. Oh, yeah, Scubby? Oh, you did, huh? Sports remoter, huh? Well. What was that name again? Chris Baum. Why, yes, I recall. Oh, no, I'll be there in about an hour, so I want to call Patsy first. Right. And thanks, Scubby. Bye. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what... Hey, Patsy. How's everything, huh? Oh, fine. I'm coming down to the hall. Is there anything you want me to bring along? Uh-huh. Why, sure, I can do that. But will that be enough, though? Okay. Yeah, Scubby just called. Oh, he found out something about Rasper. What? You did, too? How old is he? Named Jimmy, huh? And he's coming to our party? Oh, fine, Patsy. Okay, I'll see you in a little while. Bye. Oh, that's fine. We've collected enough to do this year's party up right.
Now let's get organized. Riley, your job will be to get the kids and the needy persons rounded up.
Oh, sure, Nick. I'll take care of it. I got your lists and the list from the social worker and from the church down there. And there are plenty of others who'll need a lift this year, believe me.
I know it, Riley, and I'll depend on you. Scubby, it's your job to see that the tree and decorations and gifts are taken care of.
Don't worry, Nick. Decorating is my middle name. I'll make Lincoln Hall look like $1 million in cash.
Good boy, good boy. And Patsy, you'll see to it that there's plenty to eat and drink for the party, so I won't have to worry about that. I'll take care of the bills, and you have the letters of credit the stores gave us. You know how to do that.
Sure thing, Nick. I've been through it with you often enough before. I ought to know what you want by this time.
What are you going to be doing, Nick?
Me? Well, Riley, I'm going to do a little detecting. I'm going to look into those tips you, Patsy, and Scubby gave me about those people who know Ben Rasper. And by the time I'm through, I hope to find out why it is that he hates Christmas the way he does. And then, well, then, maybe I'll be able to do something about it.
Hello? Yes, this is Rasper talking. Yes? I sent you the bill, didn't I? Well, what if it is due on the 27th? No, just because it's a holiday is no reason for a bill to be unpaid. Goodbye. Darn fool nonsense, that's what it is. It's a lot of foolish...
Still talking big, ain't you, Rasper?
Who's that? What do you want?
Don't you remember me, Rasper?
No, I don't remember you. Who are you?
They used to call me the Kid. Chris the Kid.
Chris?
Sometimes known as the Human Flash.
Chris, you? Well?
It's been a long time, Rasper, hasn't it?
How'd you find me? Who sent you here?
A fellow named Nick Carter told me I'd find you here in your office, even if it is Christmas Eve.
Nick Carter? Oh, yes. Wanted me to give him some money for some fool party.
Oh, for the party at Lincoln Hall, I guess. Hey, he's never asked me for anything. Just gave me what I needed, when I needed it.
So he hired you to come here and take up my time to get...
No, he didn't send me here. Just said I'd find you here, that's all. I came here of my own accord, just to wish you a Merry Christmas. Thought you'd say that. Well, I don't mind, because it's on account of Nick Carter that I can stand on my own feet again. Not on account of you.
What's that?
You mind if I sit down? It was on Christmas Eve that we won our first fight, wasn't it?
Fight? Oh,
yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I can remember the noise of the crowd, the glare of the lights, and the smoke curling around and the brightness over the ring, and you leaning over me with that wet towel.
You got him going, Chris. Another one like that last round, and you'll have him in the ropes for the count. How do you feel now, kid?
I'm okay, Rasper. Just let me at him. I don't have to wait anymore. It's my meat right now.
You take your orders from me, kid. I'm the brains here. When you get the signal from me, you give it to him.
Okay, Rasper. You're the boss.
Go ahead, kid. Keep that left up. Keep your shoulder high. Keep it up. That's right, kid. That's the ticket. Now you can take him. Get set. Take him, Chris. Now.
There were a lot of those little affairs after that, Rasper. And I always did what I was told, huh?
Yes. You're a good fighter, Chris. Good fighter.
I made a lot of money for us in those fights, Rasper.
Well,
a lot of money.
The old days, Chris. Lots of water's gone under lots of bridges since then.
I know. And the percentage you paid me didn't last long either. It went just like that water. But I didn't care much about things like that. Till the day a friend of mine came and gave me a warning tip. That started me thinking.
Oh, kid, how do you feel?
Oh, hello, Rasper. Where you been? I wanted to talk to you.
I've been around. What's up?
I got a tip today that you're signing up Timmy O'Day. You're going to manage him.
Who told you that?
Never mind. Is it true?
That depends.
Depends on what?
Look, kid, you're getting slow. O'Day's fresh. He'll be the next champ. If he wins this fight with you tonight, I'm taking him over.
If I win tonight?
I'm taking O'Day over anyhow. We've been together a long time, kid, and it don't pay to get in too much of a rut.
So that's all it means to you, is it? Money. The payoff, huh? What about all the years we've known each other? What about the things we've been through? Why, you...
No, don't get yourself all in a sweat, kid. It isn't good for you. You'll get your cut anyway. Don't worry. You'll get your cut. I'll see you later.
Rasper, what'll I do? Tell me what to do. I can't see him. My eyes all puffed up. He's cutting me to ribbons.
tell me what to do, Rasper. Don't bother me, kid. Use your own judgment. You're on your own, as of now.
But, Rasper, you always...
You're on your own, kid.
I can still see you sitting there in the ring corner, laughing at me. But that was the last thing I saw for a long time. O'Day saw to that. You must have coached him pretty thorough about my style. And then you really cashed in. Well, I haven't got much myself, but I'm still able to wish you a Merry Christmas, Rasper. Although I don't think you'll ever have one.
Chris, I
got some things to do, Rasper. Carter asked me to pick up some things for the party at Lincoln Hall tomorrow. We always have a swell time at Carter's Christmas parties. Too bad you can't enjoy anything like that anymore. Well, as I said before, Rasper, Merry Christmas.
How can a man work with his mind whirling like a merry-go-round? Christmas Eve. God, it's a fine excuse for people to go around yelling at each other in the streets. Disturbing a man when he wants to get some work done. Oh, I might as well close the office and get some rest. Would have been home by now if the kid, if Chris hadn't taken up so much time. What Chris does for a living now. Wonder if... it's none of my concern. Get home and get some sleep. That's what I need. Who's that? I'm closing up. Come back tomorrow morning.
Oh, I'm glad I got here before you left, Ben.
Who is it?
It's Nina, Ben.
Oh, Nina.
I only stopped by to speak to you for a moment. It's getting quite late, and
Well, sit down for a moment, Nina.
Oh, thank you.
Here, let me get your chair.
I suppose it's rather bold of me to come after all this time, but
Why, no, Nina, no. I'm glad you did. Is there something you want?
Oh, no. No, there's nothing you can do for me, Ben. Jimmy and I are doing very nicely. I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. I was in the neighborhood doing some shopping for the party that Mr. Carter's giving at Lincoln Hall tomorrow, and
How is he, Nina? Jimmy, I mean.
Oh, he's fine, Ben. He's full of life and interested in everything. He has a good head on his shoulders, and he's very handsome, too.
Oh, that's fine. Just fine.
You're looking a little tired, Ben. Are you feeling well?
Oh, yes, of course. I've been working hard, that's all. I don't spend much time at home. Not much reason to.
That's the way you wanted it, Ben. Don't you remember?
Nina, where are you?
Oh, Jimmy, there's Daddy. Now, wait here for Mommy like a good boy, won't you? I'm coming, Ben. I've been keeping your dinner warm for you. I hope you'll... What's the matter, Ben? You look as if
That's nothing, Nina, nothing. I'm in a hurry, that's all.
Well, you're always in a hurry, aren't you? Never have time for...
Where's my dinner?
Sit down, Ben. I'll have it for you right away. This plate is hot now. Be careful that you don't burn yourself.
I won't. Salt, please.
Here you are, dear. Ben, when you've finished, won't you take time enough out of your business to help me get the tree decorated? I know Jimmy's too young to know much about it, but I'd love to have his Christmas all ready for him in the morning. Look, I'll put him to sleep right away, and then we can start. See, I have some holly and mistletoe for the fireplace, and some ribbon
I won't
and
have
paper
time
on the...
for that, Nina.
But, Ben, it's Christmas Eve. Surely you
I have to get back to the office. I'm putting on a championship match for O'Day in January, and the things have gone haywire. Something that can't wait till tomorrow. I have to get it organized right away, that's all.
Ben, this is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow will be Jimmy's first Christmas. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
You and Jimmy celebrate Christmas any way you want to, Nina. I've something more important to do. Business is more important than sentiment. You certainly can see that.
Yes, Ben. I can see that. I've been seeing it more and more during the last few years. I thought that when Jimmy came, maybe you would... No, I was wrong, wasn't I, Ben? You'd even let your love for business break up our home.
Break up our... Oh, don't be melodramatic, Nina.
I'm not being melodramatic, Ben. I'm trying to be very calm and quiet about it. I've had a lot of time to think when I've sat alone here night after night. And those days on end when you've been away, attending to your business.
And what has come out of all this thinking you've done?
Just this, Ben. I'm not going on any longer. Either you belong to your family, or your family will get along without you.
I have to rush, Nina. Good night.
Not good night, Ben. It's goodbye. Jimmy and I are leaving tonight.
Look, I haven't time to talk about it with you now, Lena. By the way, this will probably take most of the night.
Good night. Goodbye, Ben, and Merry Christmas.
I never had much of a chance to make it up to you, Nina.
You've had all the chance you wanted, Ben.
But, Nina,
I just dropped by to say hello and to give you a wish for happiness during the holidays. It's hard not to share with you the joy I have with Jimmy. I wish you could see his eyes dance at Mr. Carter's Christmas parties. Unfortunately, on what little I make, we can't very well afford to have our Christmas at home, but somehow we don't miss it. Everybody has such a grand time at Mr. Carter's party, and Jimmy does enjoy every minute that he's there. Goodness, I'll have to be on my way. Jimmy's waiting for me, and I have to make one more stop for Mr. Carter. Good night, Ben, and Merry Christmas.
This stuff doesn't taste like anything. Nothing at all. I can't understand what's got into me. It's good food, fixed the same as it always is. It just doesn't taste right, that's all. What's that? Someone at the door this time of the night? I'm coming.
Hello, Ben. It's Fred Anderson. Glad I found you at home.
I'm always at home this time of night.
Yes, I suppose you are, Ben. Can I come in?
Of course.
I brought your package, Ben. Nick Carter sent me around with it. Said you'd probably be here alone tomorrow and he'd like you to have it.
Carter? What's Carter sending me?
You might open it and see, Ben. I'm no mind reader.
Can't see any reason why Carter would want to... Bottle of port wine. Let's see the card. Merry Christmas from Nick Carter. What's the idea? You know anything about this, Fred?
No, but Nick Carter's a funny duck. Does lots of things people don't expect him to.
Why, I don't even know the man. Only saw him once, and that... You want a glass of this wine, Fred?
Don't mind if I do, Ben. Seeing as it's Christmas Eve, I don't mind at all.
There's some glasses here somewhere. Say, how do you open this thing?
Here, I'll do it for you, Ben. Yeah, that does it. Well, go ahead, you open it.
Yes? Oh, yes, all right.
Well, ain't you drinking with me, Ben?
Huh? Oh. Yes, I will.
That's the ticket. Well, here's Merry Christmas for you, Ben.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Well, how have you been keeping yourself, Fred?
Oh, I've been sort of working around Lincoln Hall since I was retired from the force.
I see.
You know, while I was coming here tonight, I was thinking about those old days when I walked a beat. Funny, most folks call them the good old days, but I don't.
You did all right in those times, didn't you?
Oh, sure, I got along. I was just thinking about the different attitudes folks have nowadays toward being given a hand. They appreciate it more, it seems to me.
Charity's still charity, Fred. That hasn't changed.
Guess it's all in the point of view, Ben. I guess you haven't changed with the times. That night I met you near the bridge. I was sure you were going to see that you were headed in the wrong direction and wake up in time. Huh? Remember that night, Ben? It was Christmas Eve. You'd just come from the arena. They'd handed you your walking papers because you'd let them down cold.
Oh, Merry Christmas, officer.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you, sir. Well, what you doing out on a night like this, Ben? I thought you'd be up at the arena getting the New Year's fights lined up.
What? Oh, it's you, Anderson. No, I'm not at the arena anymore.
That's so. What happened?
They decided tonight they'd rather have Davis take over my job. Fine Christmas present that is.
Well, that's tough news, Ben.
What you going to do now?
I don't know. I can't seem to think straight.
Oh, that's a crazy way for a man like you to talk. On a Christmas Eve, too?
Christmas Eve. That's never been anything but a jinx to me. First I get stuck with that no-good fighter all day. Then Nina leaves me and takes my son with her. And now Irina throws me out.
Well, maybe you better stop and find out what it is you're doing wrong, Ben. Maybe you're the one that's to blame, not Christmas Eve.
They all take advantage of me. I made all the money I could for them, but I'm not going to do it anymore.
Oh, take it easy, Ben. Take it easy. You better go home and think it over.
I have thought it over, Fred, and I know what the answer is. I'm going to make money for myself and nobody else. I'll show these people. I'll make so much money they'll come crawling to me on their knees. I won't have to ask for anybody's sympathy.
You don't pay to think like that, Ben. You'll regret it. Now, look. I know that Bill Boynton, who runs the shoe store down on Elm Street, is looking for a man to buy in with him. Why don't
Me
you...
work in a shoe store? Not in your life, Fred. I'm going after the big money. Big money. That's the only thing people understand, and I'm going to get it.
Well, now you got it, Ben. You're one of the richest men in town. And what's it got you?
Why, I don't know.
Ben, it's too bad you don't get around and see what nice people there are in the world. People like this Carter fella, for instance. Does a man good to know people like him. Makes you feel there really is a Santa Claus, to see him bring the smiles to the kids' faces at those parties he gives down at Lincoln Hall. Well, I'll be getting back there now, Ben. I've got a big day tomorrow. I'm not as young as I used to be. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Ben. I'll tell Nina I saw you. She'll be at the party tomorrow with young Jimmy. Good night, Ben.
Okay, everybody, quiet now. Come on. That's right. Let's pour table later on. Now, if you'll all line up along the wall over there and march around here by the tree, Lieutenant Riley will hand you your gifts. Then you can go around to the tables there and get your refreshments. Come on now, line up. That's it. That's the ticket. Now, march around here. Come on. Take your time now.
Well, Patsy, how's it going?
Oh, Nick, it's wonderful. They're having a grand time.
Oh, that's fine, Patsy. Hey, Patsy, look. Over there by the door. What do you see?
Where, Nick? Well, who's that?
That, Patsy, is Ben Rasper. Oh, I hope he's come to join the party.
For heaven's sake, that's the man I've heard so much about. Well, he looks scared to death, Nick.
Look, Patsy, will you go over and make him welcome?
Well, of course, Nick.
Good.
Hello there. Merry Christmas. I'm Patsy Bowen.
Oh.
Won't you join us?
How do you do? I hope I'm not... Do you mind if I just watch?
Well, of course not. Come right in.
I wanted to thank Mr. Carter for the gift he sent, and
Nick's right over there near the tree. Come along.
Children seem to be enjoying themselves, don't they?
They certainly do. There's Lieutenant Riley handing out the gifts there. And Scotty Wilson with him, standing next to Mr. Carter.
Yes, I met Mr. Wilson.
Just look at Lieutenant Riley. He's having as much fun as the children.
So I see. Oh, there's a nice-looking boy there, Miss... what's his name?
Where?
That one over there.
Oh, that's Jimmy. He's a nice boy. His mother was a big help to me in getting the refreshments ready. There she is over there on the far side of the hall with the table, see?
Oh, yes. Her son.
Yes.
Yes,
Nick?
I see.
Oh, Nick, we have a new guest.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Rasper. Merry Christmas. I'm glad you could join us.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. I came to express my appreciation for the gift you sent me. I hardly know how
Make nothing of it, Mr. Rasper. Your being here is thanks enough for me.
Mr. Carter, that little boy coming along the line there, Jimmy, I think his name is. Do you think I might give him... could I hand him his gift, do you think?
Why, certainly. Riley. Mr. Rasper here wants to lend a hand. Can you use him?
Why, sure thing, Nick. Come along, Mr. Rasper.
Thank you, Mr.
Go ahead.
Carter.
Well, you just hand them these packages as they come along, Mr. Rasper. And enjoy yourself, man.
I will. There, little girl. Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you.
Say, she liked it, didn't she?
Well, they all appreciate a little kindness, Mr. Rasper. Now, here's a gift for that little boy there.
Hello. Jimmy, here you are. And a Merry Christmas, son.
was the day for you. Gosh, I haven't had so much fun since last year.
You played those games harder than any two kids in the bunch, Scubby.
Yeah, and lost practically every time.
You're kidding. Well, you really have to be in condition to keep up with these kids. Boy, they're wonders. Hey, where do they get all that energy?
That will be one of the world's great mysteries forever, Scubby. Nick, what are you thinking so hard about?
Oh, I was just thinking of the way Mr. Rasper took to the party.
Oh?
Hey, don't you mean the way the party took to Mr. Rasper, Nick?
Yeah, I never saw a man open up the way he did. Why, it was wonderful. The children just flocked around him.
And that's one of the greatest jobs that Nick Carter ever did.
Well, what do you mean, Riley?
Well, Patsy, you'll never believe it, but when Nick and I went to see Rasper to get a contribution to the party, he was the hardest case of unadulterated unpleasantness I ever saw. But somehow Nick managed to get under his skin and bring out, well, what you saw tonight.
Well, for heaven's sake. How did you do it, Nick?
Well, it wasn't difficult, Patsy. You see, I could see when we first spoke to Rasper that he was fighting something. But I didn't know what it was. But from what Riley, Scubby, and you told me, I found that 3 different times Christmas Eve had brought him bad luck. First, the fighter O'Day. Then Mrs. Rasper had left Rasper on a Christmas Eve, taking his son Jimmy with her. And third, he'd lost his promoter's connection at the arena, also on Christmas Eve. Well, the whole thing added up. Rasper associated Christmas Eve with a list of unfortunate incidents and fought anything that suggested the holidays to him. He made a lot of money, but it never brought him happiness. The big thing for me was to make him realize that people and Christmas meant good and not evil. And from what I saw this afternoon, the Rasper family and the whole neighborhood, for that matter, is going to benefit by his awakening to that realization.
Oh, Nick, that's wonderful. You deserve a kiss for that.
Oh, thanks, Betsy. I'm glad you feel that way, too. You know, I'm happier this evening because of Mr. Rasper than I would be if I'd solved 20 murders. He's made this a really Merry Christmas for all of us.
This has been another of the strange adventures of Nick Carter, Master Detective, which are brought to you regularly at this time by WOR Mutual. What's your story going to be about next time, Nick?
It's a little different from the usual story because it started out with Nick himself being the victim of a holdup.
Yes, and the men who held me up turned out to be innocent after all.
Sounds a trifle complicated to me.
It was. Complicated, but interesting. And it gave me plenty of trouble before I found the solution.
Including a sore throat that almost finished Nick Carter.
A sore throat? Why should that be dangerous?
Because it was the kind that you get from a rope around your neck.
Hey, wait a minute. You mean...
All the rest of the story you get 2 weeks from tonight, not now. So long, everybody.
So long.
So long, both of you.
Christmas Eve in Gotham City. Is it our imagination, or is the city more peaceful than usual? Has the magic of Christmas silenced the screaming sirens, the whine of bullets, the 1,000 frightening voices of terror in the city at night? We find Batman and Robin wondering about the same thing as we join them.
You know, Robin, it's been a pleasure just relaxing at home for a change.
Yeah, no special calls for help from the police or anybody. And I'd kind of like it for a change, too.
The only thing on our schedule for tonight is the Christmas party at the South Side Mission down on Skid Row. And come to think of it, we better get going.
Okay.
I'll get it. Hello?
Hello. Is this Batman?
Yes.
I have a singing telegram for you.
How nice. Sing away.
I wish you a deadly Christmas. I wish you a deadly Christmas. I wish you a deadly Christmas and no more New Year's.
Who is this?
I can assure you, friend, if you go out tonight, you won't live long enough to find out.
What was that all about?
No, nothing. Just some creep crawling out of the woodwork. Come on, let's get to the party. I don't want to be late.
And as they make their way through the shadowy streets of the city...
Don't turn around, Robin, but I think someone's following us.
How do we handle it?
When we reach the corner just ahead, slip around fast and we'll grab him when he comes by. Ready? Now.
He's coming closer.
Oh, I'm so sorry, madam. I thought...
How dare you! I'm going to call the police! Help! Help!
She's too hysterical to listen to explanations.
We better get out of here fast.
Are you sure someone was following us?
Well, I thought... If I wasn't sure then, I am now. Over here, quick. In this doorway.
Did you see where the shots came from?
Right across the street. We're trapped.
Hey, Batman, why don't you just walk out nice and easy like with your little friend and get this over with? Decked them all with an M3 volley. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. 'Tis the reason I'm so jolly. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
Now I know who that is. It's Rudy Snow, alias Rudolph the Red-Nosed Hitman. Hey, Rudy.
Oh, you remember me, eh?
How about a deal, Rudy? You let us go, and I'll let you go.
Let me go? That's very funny, but you're just wasting time, Batman.
What'll we do? Your bluff didn't work.
It was no bluff. Watch this.
The batarang, of course. It can go around corners. Works like a boomerang.
Here she goes.
Oh!
Bullseye!
There you are, Captain.
It's Rudolph, the red-nosed hitman. Must be wanted in a dozen states.
And you got him. See you later.
Hey, wait a minute. Any other charges besides assault with intent to murder and illegal possession of a deadly weapon?
Yes. Charge him with disturbing the peace on Christmas Eve.
Don't you think it would be better to go the rest of the way by Batmobile?
Oh, I don't think so. With Rudy in jail, we shouldn't have any more trouble. And it's such a nice, clear night for walking. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Da-da-da-da-dee-doo, da-da-da-da.
Look at that crazy driver. He must be drunk, heading right at us. And his lights shining right in our eyes.
Quick, use the bat ropes.
Flinging their ropes so that they catch onto a ledge 2 stories up on the building behind them, the two clamber up out of harm's way as the killer car, driving right up on the sidewalk, goes out of control. Phew, what a mess. Do you recognize either of those 2 characters?
Do I ever? This one, the driver, is Maxie the Minstrel Man, bouncer at a sleazy go-go joint downtown.
What a name.
Fancied himself a song and dance man, but soon discovered his only talent was beating up helpless drunks.
Any other one? Look, he's dressed in a Santa Claus suit.
It's Sammy, the South Side Santa. For years, he's been a fixture in the Christmas scene down there. I don't get it. He's been involved in petty larceny, but never anything like this.
Look, he's still alive, trying to say something.
You're right. Sammy, it's me, Batman. Can I do anything for you?
No. Just listen. I didn't want to be in on this. He made me.
Who, Sammy? Who made you?
I could never kill.
He's gone. Poor Sammy. Really as gentle a man as you'd ever meet.
Well, one thing is for sure. Someone is out to get us.
And whoever it is knew exactly when we went out tonight and where we were going.
Someone at the Southside Mission?
Yeah, the Southside Mission. After we call the police to clean up here, we're going to take a good look at that place. Seems to me there's more going on down there than a Christmas party for the down and out.
In the Southside Mission, run and financed almost exclusively through the efforts of Dr. Jonathan Carroll, 100 of the less fortunate of Gotham City are enjoying a delicious turkey dinner with all the trimmings.
God bless old Dr. John. This is the first good meal I've had in a month.
I don't know what we'd do down here without him.
When I broke my arm a month ago, he fixed it up and wouldn't charge me a cent.
Look, he's getting up on the stage. He's going to speak. Hooray for Dr. John. Yay, hooray. Oh.
Thank you, friends. I hope you're enjoying the meal. And don't be afraid to ask for seconds. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to bore you with any speeches. I wish we could have had some musical entertainment tonight, but instead... Batman and Robin, just in time. Come in.
That's Dr. Carroll. He runs the place, and he's the one who invited us down here.
You think he may be the one that...
Awfully hard to believe, but let's play it straight. Well, Dr. John, nice to see you, and nice to be here. quite an affair you've put together here.
Oh, I had lots of help from my friends out there, like Helen and William and Mrs. McCready there at the front table. Hi, Mrs. Mack, and especially Rodney Dogood.
Rodney Dogood?
Yes, Rodney's a regular here and practically my right-hand man. He's right over... Oh, not there. Must have stepped out for a minute. He'll probably be right back.
But Rodney Dogood at that moment is up to no good. In his room in a dingy lodging house right across the street from the mission, we see a very different man from the gentle derelict befriended by Dr. John.
Everything I tried failed. My warning not to go out didn't frighten him away. 2 attempts to eliminate him were bungled. This time we will not fail. You got it straight now. When you hear the singing, that's when you make your entrance.
Only one thing, boss. If you goes back in there, ain't Batman gonna recognize you and blow the whole thing?
Don't worry. I doubt if even the brilliant Batman will be able to tell that Dr. John's most successful example of rehabilitation, Rodney Dogood, and escaped convict Rodney Crawfield are one and the same person.
Meanwhile, back at the mission...
My friends, I'm sure you all know Batman and his young friend Robin. Batman, won't you say a few words?
Okay, but just as few as I possibly can. I am delighted to be here and see all of you. And I promise you and Dr. John I'll always be a friend of the Southside Mission. Thank you.
Ah, Rodney, there you are. Come up and meet Batman.
It's an honor to shake your hand, sir.
Glad to meet you, Rodney. Dr. John's told me a lot about you.
Thank you. Can I get you something from the kitchen? Some cake, perhaps some coffee?
Sounds good to me. Something strangely familiar about this guy.
And Dr. John, why not start the carol singing? I think you'll enjoy it, Batman. Somehow it seems to take on a special meaning down here. I'll be right back.
Good idea. See what I mean, Batman? He's such a good man.
Yeah, I guess so. What did Rodney mean by special meaning? I wonder.
How about it, everybody? Feel like singing? Yeah! Let's go!
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Very good. Now, how about...
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace.
Yeah, sleep in heavenly peace, Batman.
But with the fine-tuned reflexes of the super athlete that he is, Batman leaps to a chandelier hanging from the ceiling above the tables and swings like a trapeze artist the whole length of the hall, landing on top of a very surprised would-be assassin.
That makes 3 down tonight.
Good going, Batman! Beside himself in rage, an infuriated Roger Crawfield witnesses the failure of his 3rd attempt on the life of Batman.
Fools! Incompetent fools, all of them! I should have known. If you want a job done right, do it yourself.
Throwing all caution to the winds, he grabs a rifle hidden in the kitchen, rushes to the stage, and aims at Batman, who is so busily engaged in tying up a dazed and befuddled fingers that he doesn't see the rifle aimed at his back.
Your luck has run out this time, Batman.
Rodney, no!
Just as Rodney pulls the trigger, Dr. John pushes the rifle barrel up, and the shot goes harmlessly into the ceiling.
You old fool! I should have got rid of you a long time ago. See how you like this rifle barrel over your head. Oh! And now I'm getting out of this crummy joint once and for all.
Running out the back door, he races up the fire escape to the roof, with Batman close on his heels.
You might as well give up, Rodney. I remember you now, and I'll put you behind bars again, just the way I did 6 years ago.
Oh, no, you won't, Bird Brain.
Now, missed again, Rodney. Ready or not, here I come.
And then begins a wild chase across the rooftops of Gotham City. The frenzied efforts of the criminal to escape, making him an even match for the super smooth running machine we know as Batman.
Maybe you can hitch a ride with Santa Claus, Rodney. He'll be coming any minute now.
This'll shut you up, smart mouth.
You're running out of bullets, Rodney, and looks like you're running out of space, too. Look ahead.
To his horror, Rodney sees that the rooftop of the next building is over 30 feet away.
Give it up, Rodney. I've got you trapped.
Oh, no, you haven't.
And Rodney races forward in a desperate leap for freedom.
Rodney, don't!
It is an hour later at the mission. The police and all the guests have gone.
How do you feel now, Dr. John?
Fortunately, it was a glancing blow, so I'll be all right. But the shock of learning about Rodney.
Yeah, imagine using the mission as a recruiting center and headquarters for his gang of crooks.
That's why he didn't want me to reach here alive. And he would have succeeded if it hadn't been for you, Dr. John.
And if it hadn't been for you and Robin, who knows what would have happened to me in the South Side mission? How can I ever?
Listen, the bells.
Midnight. It's Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Batman. Robin.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Dr. John.
Thanks for joining us for Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We're looking forward to a new year filled with much promise and a lot of old-time classics from the golden age of radio. Be hard to get to bed tonight when there'll be presents under the tree. But try, give it a try, and sweet dreams. This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.